fix this. Hey, James, good morning. MD, good morning. Good to see you guys in here. All right. We are going to talk about resisting. It's so important that I want everyone, this is part of courage. This channel is all about being a community, for us coming together, for us supporting, encouraging, building, connecting, and more importantly, resisting and fighting fascism. And what's really interesting is that this war against fascism isn't something new. It is something that started with Hitler in America. They actually worked to try to seize control. They had a coup. They had a plot, right? They tried to do it direct way. And what they figured out, these fucking fascist bitches, is to weaponize algorithms and really do a secret war. Really, what we are facing is a war, right? A war is happening. It's an information war. It's a data war. It's not and ultimately now it's becoming a casualties. We're seeing casualties. They're killing us in the streets. They're locking us up. They're violating our constitutional rights, and our entire democratic system is really just hanging on by a thread. It really is. And to any of you out there who were like me, who thought, oh, I don't participate in this nonsense, it's all political, it isn't. We are in a fight for the survival of the greatest democracy on the planet. That's what we're in. And people in this channel here who support, thanks for the likes, I appreciate. God, oh my God, 4 viewers and 4 likes, god damn. I know you're seeing 0, but that's actually, I'm actually getting 6 likes now. That's this algorithm. It hides the likes. It's a YouTube thing, doesn't like my channel, but I'm actually getting the real count. It's 6 to 6. We're getting everyone liking this channel. I really appreciate the love. All right. We're at 300 viewers right now, even though it only says 4. We're actually at 300 viewers. Again, it's being masked by the algorithm. Don't believe your lying eyes. This channel right now is rocking. Oh my God, 1,200 viewers right now watching. Holy shit. Look at all the likes flooding in. Unbelievable. The fucking, when you have AI and you can take away the views, oh my God, shit is exploding. Now, don't believe your lying eyes. It only says like 11 people watching. That's not real. That's not real, guys. There's literally 1,200 people in here right now watching, right? And they're, oh my God, they are commenting. The commenting is fucking insane. Holy shit. Now, you're not going to see any commenting because you're being filtered by YouTube. But believe me, there's like 1,200 people in here right now. There's like, of the 1,200, there's 343 likes, 344 likes right now. Oh, wait, 1,500 people. Oh, you got that other one. Oh, how you guys doing? Do the fart push. Poop out, it does the poop push. Dude, why are you fixated, Patty? Why are you fixated on anus? Are you because you're a closet homosexual? Right? Right? Is that it? Is that it? You're a closet. All right, you're a closet homosexual. Let's see here. Let's go talk about this. Let's go, Mikey. Take my son to school. Champion.
What champion?
You're the champion. He raced his big brother in a sprint and beat him. He's faster. It's his first is one thing. You probably could. What do you think? What? Oh, you didn't charge your goddamn thing? You didn't charge? You didn't charge this thing. 8,000, 38,000 bull monkey. Where are you in bull monkey? Where are you in Europe? So we're going to be talking about basically resistance. You know, the America. I mean, it doesn't get any more. If you have any doubt that America hasn't become a fascist fucking troll, look at what we did with World Cup. Denmark. Okay, hold on. Hold on. All right. Okay, there you go. I want to do a shout out. We have official representation, right, from Denmark. We got the bull monkey, right, from Denmark. He is now official. He is now the official voice of Denmark for this channel. Okay, welcome. Everyone get a round of applause. Denmark. We love Denmark. I love Denmark. Denmark, I think, is one of the happiest motherfucking places on the planet. You know, they're happy because they're not trodden down by the man, right? These poor guys. Listen, look at them. So if you have any doubt that fascism, America has become a fascist. Look at the World Cup, right? Look at the World Cup. If you have any doubt, right, that America has become a fascism, you just look at the World Cup. Only a fascist like Hitler, right? Imagine what Hitler. Remember with I don't know if you guys know this, right? Remember Jesse Owens? Anyone know Jesse Owens? Who Jesse Owens was? Jesse Owens was a black guy. He ran in the Munich Olympics, and Hitler was upset because he was winning all of the medals, and only a fascist would basically believe that they have the right to call up FIFA and to complain and get the goddamn thing overturned. That's the purest signal that America has become a fascist country, is the World Cup and what Trump did with a phone call. Oh, it was a perfect phone call. Type 1 if you agree. Type 1 if you agree. If that is the biggest dog whistle of fascism out there, is when you have a dictator, right? A little dick. We have to understand, Trump is a little dictator, right? The little dictator Trump. And, and he feels like he didn't like a call. People complain. I just pick up the phone. I'm going to call my buddy, right, who runs FIFA, which is the one organization we all know that is actually more corrupt than Trump. Of all the fucking organizations out there that's corrupt, FIFA is at the fucking top, right? On that. Right, on that. He picks up his phone. He goes, because that's a dictator. He's going to dictate tyranny. He's going to, he believes that he is right. He knows the best, that everyone should bend down to his, to his will. I think one of, I don't know if it was Jefferson, he talked about tyranny. And he said tyranny is when the House, the judicial, all bend towards one person, then you have tyranny. America has tyranny, and the tyranny comes in the form of a little dictator, right? I know, but he complained, didn't he, James? He complained about it. He wanted to block it. The thing is that what makes what happened with the World Cup so fucking crazy, right? Is just days before he was trying to get people like this, I forget his name, this guy, kicked out of America. He's a birthright citizenship. He's only playing on the American World Cup team because his mother, who was living in England, who's Nigerian, you know, came over to America and took advantage of the very birthright citizenship that allowed him to play for America. So if you, the hypocrisy of this is just insane. I mean, the madness that you've got the little dictator, right, calling up, complaining about a birthright citizen, right, and trying to make it sure that he could play. Now, I want to shout out to Belgium, right? You know, Trump, just like he lost the Knicks game, right? Remember, like, Trump put his fucking, you know, he had to go in and close down and ruin the fucking Knicks, and, you know, he ruined the American team. The American team probably would have fucking won that with the guy off, right? But instead, what the little dictator did was he rallied up, you know, Belgium. Oh my God, they're like pancakes, waffles. We're gonna smash these little fuckers trying to cheat. I mean, wouldn't you think about it? Like, here's this little dictator putting his fucking shit. I mean, part of sports, folks, what makes sports interesting, when millions of people are like, oh my God, that wasn't a foul, right? That's what makes sports interesting, right? Type of one, if you agree. You know, it's the whole drama. And when you've got a little dictator, right, that pushes in and thinks, oh no, that's my team, right? What's up, Angel? Good to see you. How you been, right? How you been? When you got the little dictator, you know, sticking his little dick in everything, right? It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be an American in the world. Can you imagine now? You know, every American around the world is fucking having to hang their head down. Yeah, I'm sorry. My president, you know, tried to fucking, you know, steal the game, ruined the game of soccer for so many people. I mean, the funny thing is, this is going to be the one thing that everyone remembers about the World Cup. The 2026 World Cup in America forever is going to remember the year a fucking little dictator, right, stuck his little dick, right, into the gaming system to try to pervert the outcome of the game, right, and failed. Trump fails at fucking everything. That's the good news. He fails at everything. He's just a failure. And unfortunately, in his failures, he's causing a lot of harm, you know? It's so important, and it's what's so important, and really what I want to talk about today is that we are at the finish line, guys. We're at the finish. I want you to be thinking that November, right? November is the fucking finishing line for this little fucking dictator, right? We're going to finish off this little dictator. His fucking rule ends in November. And how we're going to do it, it's going to be really simple, right? You're going to ensure that five friends of yours, this is the plan. It's a really simple plan. Every one of you listening who want to get rid of this little fucking dictator will do this, is ensure you write on your name five friends, right, that you know in your neighborhood, everything else. Ideally, the kinds of people who are kind of lackadaisical, you know, who are like, you know, who are down and out, right? Don't go for the five that you know are voting. I want you to find five friends, five folks that you know are kind of on the edge and like, what the hell, and they're kind of fed up. And I want you to empower them, right? We're so close to get rid of this fucking little dictator, right? That you know, we can get rid of him. And you know, make sure that you are registered. Make sure you're registered. Join me. We're gonna have a vote party this November. I'm having a barbecue, right? We're having a barbecue, right? Yeah, and they are the Jewish elections are a fraud, right? On there, right? The Jewish ones are fraudulent. You're right. I agree with you. Those Netanyahu ones are fraudulent, right? This kind of Jeremy is a perfect example. That's what they want you to think, Jeremy. That's what they want you to think. Maybe you're an algorithm bot, right? You're trying to push back against my rhetoric, right? Jeremy is a great example, Great example of the misinformation bot. Oh no, elections are fraudulent. Oh, elections don't work. Oh, don't vote. Oh, it's a waste of time. It's not. See, that's what they want. It's not a waste of time. It's a numbers game. And if you focus on 5 friends, make a list, right? And the goal is, and especially the ones that are gung-ho like you, right? You need to form your little community, your little, think of it as your little cell, voting cells. We're gonna launch thousands of micro voting cells. Think of their ANTIFA, little ANTIFA cells, right? We're launching ANTIFA cells all over America. Now, how do you get your ANTIFA cell membership, right? You go to antifafm.com. We're hiding. Our membership site is hidden in antifafm.com, right? Trump's too dumb. ICE is too dumb. They're never gonna look in plain sight. So antifafm.com is where you get your membership, right? To Antifa. Go there, right? And and let's create these little cells. And how do you know you're part of it, right? You got your little badge here. You got a little flag right there. What's this guy doing? Let me get by this guy. He's on his bicycle climbing up this hill. He doesn't look too happy. I wouldn't be too happy riding his damn bike up this hill on there. We must say bye-bye to Israel, Lewis. Yes, we do. We got to say bye-bye. Iran needs nuclear weapons. We need to say bye-bye, Israel. I 100% believe. Bye-bye, Israel. What is this fucker doing? I got people coming at me everywhere here. All right, I probably can't get out of here. All right, Mikey, have a good day. Thank you. What's up, Kano? How you doing? What are you? Huh? I just gave you 5,000 yen, and now you're just grabbing money from me.
You don't use it, right?
Yeah, I use it. Goddamn penny. Down there.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we got to be super positive. Super positive. You click on your member, says right here, home. Look, there it is. You click on right here, right? Click on play. So you can say, Officer, yeah.
Alimentando la maldad.
There's my membership.
¿Quién nos salvará? Nobody, nadie. Who speaks the truth? ¿Quién dirá verdad? Nobody, nadie. Who protects the kid? ¿Quién los cuidará? Nobody, nadie. So we save ourselves. Nos toca luchar. Fake for Christians. Falsos hasta el fin. Pedo loving nazi. Nazis de mierda. Gospel is poison. Veneno que das. América unido no nos van a tumbar. Fake for Christians. Gritamos la herida. Pedo loving nazi. Asesinos del alma. We scream from the wound. Desde el dolor. The resistance won't die. Viva el amor. You thought we'd stay quiet. Pensaste que el miedo nos iba a callar. You thought we'd disappear. Pero aquí estamos, no nos van a borrar. We are the ones you fear. Somos la voz que no puedes parar. And we're not going anywhere. Y vamos a ganar.
Yeah, so use Antifa FM, antifafm.com as a mechanism to get interest in a conversation, right? Do you think Trump is a fascist? Ask your friends. You think he's a fascist? Here's some music, resistance music. All right, it's Antifa FM, and open up your phone and play the music. Share it. I'm a member of Antifa. I'm a proud member of Antifa. I've got Antifa FM on my phone. I'm a proud member. I'm anti-fascist. I do not believe in having a country that is that doesn't have a constitution. I don't believe in a country that is driven by the police state, by jackboot thugs. Our police and our ICE, there needs to be entire fucking police reform, you know. Building concentration camps and everything is just insane, insane. So we're just months away. We're just months away. Now's the time to really start the work. We got to start the work now. Ensuring that your friends are registered and saying, hey, here's our chance. Think about it. If we take the House and the Senate, we're seeing Trump impeachment trials. We're seeing, massive, hearings in the fraud case and all the crypto fraud, all the stuff. It's gotta be some great TV to watch. It's gonna be great TV. I mean, I would encourage you, even if you are a Trump supporter and you want to see some drama, hey, vote blue. You're gonna get so much good fucking TV. If the Democrats win the Senate and the House, holy shit. That's some good stuff. It's gonna be good stuff. All right. So to listen to, actually, I wanted you to listen to Rachel Maddow's this work on courage. Let's see if it'll come up here. All right, so now what I want you to do is let's break down the two books. Let's talk about the history of fascism in America, right? The origin story. Hitler had Make Germany Great Again. That's where Make America Great Again comes from. It's actually just stealing from the original German propaganda, the big lie, how Hitler was elected, the Enabling Act, which is basically what Trump's done, is replaced with emergency executive order, emergency powers. He's leveraged that. He's basically been a fascism that Rachel covers very succinctly, factually, supported by what we know with the data. I think Hitler was gay. Wasn't Hitler? Oh, Hitler was a pedo, I think.
Well, you're pointing to cuts straight to the psychological core of authoritarianism, while Hitler's literal campaign slogans were things like Deutschland erwache, Germany awake, and Ein Volk, Ein Reich, Ein Führer. The underlying message was exactly what you described: an obsession with national humiliation, a promise to restore a mythical past greatness, and the deployment of a big lie, gross Lüge, to rewrite reality. What Rachel Maddow uncovers in Prequel is that this exact playbook wasn't just a European phenomenon. In the 1930s and 40s, American fascists successfully grafted Nazi psychological tactics onto existing American political structures. 1. The domestic groundwork, predating Hitler. Maddow establishes that the American strain of fascism didn't need to be imported whole cloth from Berlin.
No.
The soil was already prepared. The Henry Ford blueprint. In the 1920s, long before Hitler took power, industrialist Henry Ford used his immense paper, the Dearborn Independent, and print hundreds of thousands of copies of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Hitler actually kept a life-size portrait of Ford in his Munich office and praised him by name in Mein Kampf. The Ku Klux Klan foundations, the 1920s re-emergence of the KKK, which boasted millions of members at its peak, had already normalized the weaponization of 100% Americanism, white supremacy, and hypernationalism as mainstream political forces. 2. Weaponizing the legal apparatus. You mentioned Hitler's use of the Enabling Act of 1933, which legally dismantled the Weimar Republic's constitution from within using emergency decrees. Prequel documents how American fascists attempted a parallel strategy, using the protections of the U.S. Constitution to destroy the democracy that guaranteed them, abusing the First Amendment. When the federal government tried to crack down on Nazi propaganda operations in the U.S., isolationist senators and organizations screamed that their free speech rights were being violated. They used democratic protections as a legal shield to protect foreign psychological warfare. For debate clause of the Constitution, a politician could not be sued or arrested for anything said on the House or Senate floor, creating a perfect legal loophole for subversion. 3. The American Big Lie. The overarching big lie of the American fascist movement in the late 1930s was President Franklin D. Roosevelt was an unconstitutional dictator, working for a hidden global cabal to drag unwilling Americans into a foreign war. The America First Committee, AFC. While the AFC contained many genuine pacifists, its most powerful wings were weaponized by fascists. They used the massive scale of the organization to spread the lie that Nazi Germany posed zero threat to the United States and that defense spending was a scam. Inverting the aggressor, propaganda networks flipped reality on its head, portraying Adolf Hitler as a man of peace and FDR as the true warmonger and tyrant. 4. The paramilitary armed wings. Just as the Nazi Party relied on the Sturmabteilung, SA/brown shirts, to terrorize political opponents and prepare for state capture, America had its own domestic paramilitary shock troops, the Christian Front. Headquartered in New York and inspired by the radio priest Father Charles Coughlin, this group was a massive, radicalized network. In 1940, the FBI raided Christian Front cells and discovered they had successfully infiltrated the U.S. military to steal automatic rifles, ammunition, and raw materials for pipe bombs. The insurrection plot. Their explicit goal, documented by the DOJ, was to execute a coordinated wave of bombings and assassinations in major American cities, trigger a Marxist counter-reaction, and use the resulting chaos to install a fascist military dictatorship. Maddow's historical deep dive shows that the transition from a democracy to an autocracy rarely happens overnight through a sudden coup. Instead, it relies on a steady, strategic degradation of truth, the exploitation of legal loopholes, and the weaponization of the target country's own identity against.
Yeah, so you have to understand, the reason why I wanted to start here, because most people don't realize our historical, right? Hitler had the brown shirts, we got the red hats, right? The red hats is just MAGA is the Nazi party. MAGA is the Nazi party of 1933, 1934. And they're building the infrastructure, all these detention centers that are going to hold tens of millions potentially over time, right? They want to build a system where they can hold dissidents, people like myself, people like you. They're going to move from one group to another group, and we're seeing this happen, right? They have systematically wiped out African American rights. They started off by weaponizing Doge or DACA and with misinformation and bullshit. They've used it as a cudgel to attack our military system, to get rid of folks. They have purged our military. We have never seen as many military officers purged out of the system. JAG, our inspector generals. It has been a complete canceling of the institutions that protect our democracy. So this is over time. And what we're facing right now is a very important nexus. The midterms is the most important event to safeguard America against these motherfucking fascists, right? I want you to focus on that. I want you not, they're going to try to bring you down and distract you with red cards and all this other shit. We need to stay focused on the midterms. We need to say, what can I do right now to bring one additional vote? Ideally, my 5 is 5 additional votes to ensure I'm going to be the leadership of this Antifa cell, right? We don't believe in violence. Antifa isn't about violence. Antifa is anti-fascist. That's all it is, anti-fascist. How can we fight fascism? We created a radio station called Antifa FM. How can we fight fascism? We can start a YouTube channel called Move to Japan, where you have an expat, every day talking about this shit, right? How can we fight fascism? We can encourage others to do. I'm one person in Japan. With one other person, we created a radio station, right? We built a community here, even though we're being, it only says 16, but actually we got like 2,500 people live right now, guys. Don't believe your lying eyes. Likes is actually, we're actually at 230 likes, right? We're actually at, we're being suppressed, but I've got the actual number. We have, 3,200 people now watching the live show. What's up, Ryan? All right. And, just vote. You can't vote Republican. You can't vote Republican, right? You may hate Democrats, but ask yourself this: do you hate democracy? Do you hate your Constitution? Ask yourself one question: do you hate the Constitution? Yes or no? If the answer is no, right? Then you got to vote blue, right? If you want to preserve, maybe hate is the wrong word. Do you want to preserve the Constitution? It's probably a better use, right? You want to preserve the Constitution. Do you want to ensure America doesn't keep spiraling down into a fucking fascist regime where we have Barron Trump? Oh yeah, we're going to change it. Trump is now king. We're going to get Don Trump Jr., and then we're going to get Barron Trump. They're just going to grift. They're going to hold us down. They're going to produce their robot army from Elon. Is that what you want? You want the Trump fucking dynasty, right? If you don't want the Trump dynasty, if you want to have, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, if you want to have freedom of speech where someone like myself can say this, because you know what? We're headed to a country like Iran. We're headed to a country like Iran. And a place where you can't say like this. You think an Iranian could come up and speak against the Iranian government like I'm speaking up against our fascist fucking government? No. You'd go to a concentration camp. Or in China, you think I could speak up against Xi Jinping and tell people to organize and vote against him in the upcoming election? Fuck no, dude. Right? This is the beauty of being American. I am, whether you like it or not, I am able to say the shit you don't like, MAGA. Right? That's America. That's freedom of speech. That's the Constitution. Right? Now, they got into power by manipulating democracy, by finding weak holes and prying them, leveraging them, right? Democracy is, they exploited loopholes in democracy. We have an opportunity to close those loopholes down. We need to make it, right? We need to do what Germany did. We need to go German. You can't talk about, Hitler and not have run around with the Nazi flag and shit like that. We need to, all these people that have been abusing the system and grifting the system need to be held accountable. On there. Anyway, let's go to the store here. We'll go in here and we'll get a yogurt or something. It's a hot day today. Fucking hot. Yeah, I guess I'll leave that on, charging. Charge my headset. I don't know. Oh, look at these guys. Look at these. How you doing? Isn't that cute? That's a new one. They're learning how to fly. That's a young what the hell is it? That's a young bird. How you doing? Look, there's his sister. It's like maybe the first time this one's flown. Look, that's another young one. Look, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're still coming back to the nest? Yeah, you still come back to the nest. Doesn't want to leave home. You don't want to leave home, do you? You don't want to leave home. Look, they're the babies. They're the babies. And they're cute. Amazing. Yeah, swallows living. The parents have gone. The birds are, they're learning to fly on there. Sorry to hear you in a lot of pain. What's going on? Why in Why in a lot of pain? Your back? What's happening? What pain are you in? What pain is he in? So what's your argument, ADHD? ADHD, what's your argument? That we shouldn't participate? Are you saying that so your solution is democracy is the reason why these people came about, so we shouldn't participate in it? Is that is that your argument? ADHD, so what's your argument? This cafe latte. I don't know if I want cafe latte. Let's have a yogurt. That's not a solution, dude. That's not a solution. I think you're just a bot, dude. I'm asking for a solution. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what he wants. He wants a king that can just grift and just steal and call up FIFA. Let's have this. I'm gonna get tube food. You know how much they love tube food. Family chicken. いらない。冷凍。
カードをタッチまたは差し込んでください。
いらない。Oh no, I think I'm gonna go home. Right. So I didn't go McDonald's today. Instead, that's small crime. That's small pennies compared to what the Trump family has stolen from the American people and grifted. That's nothing. That is so good. No, they don't. I asked my wife last night. So I asked her, did you hear about the soccer? It's all over the news, yeah. The one thing about Japan is they hate cheaters. They hate fucking cheaters. You think, all right, Nathan, was it okay for the president to call up FIFA and get the thing overturned, Nathan? You think that's okay? Well, Trump did. I'm just curious, Nathan. What do you think of what Trump did? Was that okay? Fresh orange juice and yogurt. I love this fresh orange juice. Yeah, so there's unfair red cards all the fucking time. It's part of sports. Bad referee calls is part of sports, or no? Nathan, you think it's not part of sport? You didn't answer the question. I asked you whether what Trump did was okay. Four to one. They fucking wiped the clock. I mean, talk about how Trump fucked the American team. The whole world were on Belgium's side. You understand that? The entire world was supporting Belgium. And they did. And they fucking whooped 4-1. I mean, that in soccer, that is an ass whooping. Yeah, go to my description. I don't hide like you, Nathan. Nathan. Nathan is able to go up and read the description where I have my name and my LinkedIn. Oh my God, fresh orange juice. So good. Squeeze, squeeze. I love eating. It's breakfast time. It's my breakfast. Here you go. Look. Oh my God, it's so long. Look, I'm peeling it. So this is a nut. Look, first you pull the little string here. All right. Then you open it up. You open it up. It's got nice, crispy seaweed. Unwrap it. Unwrap it. Pull the ends off. Okay, so you got, look, and then you take the seaweed, and then all you do is you let it fall out, right? And you wrap it. And then look. Right there. Tuna. This is mayonnaise and tuna. Mmm. Convenient sushi rolls. Mmm. So good. Oh, it's natto. It's a natto sushi roll. When I was in high school, I didn't smoke, but I hung out with smokers, right? They were smoking blunts this size, right? They were smoking blunts this size. That's Mr. Brown behind me. My headrest. Got his Undoubted Dude t-shirt on. Mr. Brown. So good. I know. Look at these little young birds, right? These little young birds here, right? There's one there. Wait, it was like, where's dad? Where's mom? And there's one in there. When am I getting fed? Right? These little birds haven't figured out that mom and dad are done. You know, instead of like leaving, you know, kicking the. You gotta love animals. Instead of kicking the kid out of the house, you know, with swallows, they just leave the house. The parents like, all right, we're done. We built a house. We got their kids. Okay, now we're gone. We're off. Oh, so good. What's up, Seth? I had no idea. That sushi roll was like $1.20, I think, or maybe cheaper. I don't know what to do, man. It's too hot. So I go out and work on my garden. What should I do, guys? All right, hold on. Let me message Tommy once he's going to school today. Nathan, how you been, brother? Yeah, I've you know, I haven't put up any hives this year. I built hives. I have hives. I have 2 hives at the IKEA house. Yeah, I know. Nathan still supports the party of pedos. Nathan, why you still support the party of pedos? Nathan is one of my closeted MAGA fanboys, right, Nathan? Nathan. Yeah, it's like less than $1. Like, and this it was on sale too. That's why I bought it. So, oh yeah. Why is it not playing? Is it turned off? Oh no, guys. I'm out of quandary. I really need to go do shit in the garden, but I don't feel like getting all sweaty. I need to go early. I need to get up. I was up early, and then I got distracted to coding. Now it's too hot to really go out there. Yeah, exactly, James. Guess I'm gonna go home. We go home, work on the garden. Alright, let's turn that down. Let's go to... Alright, now talk about the new book and what it seeks to do. Lay it all out. I don't know if you have access to the contents and everything else, or even strategic, what people can do. I think the most important thing right now, given the midterms, 100% of focus needs to be on the midterms. Everything that they're going to try to do is distract from that, disencourage the whole thing of the Voter Bill Act, all that nonsense, you know, to take away vote by mail and everything else. Explain. What are you saying? There's none in here, dude. You bashed them all, Ultrafly. Hold on, I missed out. What's going on? Dude, look, we got someone here who's really delusional. Why are you fixated on it? Why are you fixated on what other people want to do? That's the bigger question. Why are you fantasizing about transitioning? Because the fact that it's on your mind means you're trans curious, right? You're trans curious because you're nothing but a fake fuck Christian, pedo loving Nazi.
Implementing restrictive voting bills is engineered to create a high friction environment. The system wants you to calculate the hassle and choose compliance through exhaustion. On Courage maps out how to convert individual moral collisions into collective, resilient political action leading up to the midterms. operationalizing on courage for the midterms. Autocrats rely on strategic distraction and procedural hurdles to drive down turnout. The table below pairs the authoritarian tactic with the direct counter-strategy outlined by Angwin and Fields-Meyer's research. Authoritarian tactic. Intended psychological effect. On courage counter-strategy. Algorithmic discouragement. Creating a sense of inevitable defeat via feeds that blast voter suppression is total, or voting is useless. Rejecting the illusion of isolation. Building localized, physical networks to ground people in reality and prove they are not alone. Voting infrastructure friction. Eliminating vote by mail and closing polling sites to force long lines, causing working-class voters to opt out. Infrastructure redundancy. Developing autonomous, community-led support systems. Carpools, ballot tracking cells, ballot curing teams. Strategic distraction. Manufacturing culture wars and continuous crises to draw attention away from legislative rollbacks. Hyper-focus on the mechanics. Ignoring the online rage bait and focusing 100% of energy on localized voter registration and precinct protection. Direct action steps for the midterm battlefield. The book outlines specific habits of highly effective dissidents that can be deployed right now to protect the vote. 1. Build concentric circles of safety. When fighting voter suppression bills, individual activists frequently face threats or burnout. The book details how effective dissidents map out their networks using concentric rings. The inner ring. Unconditional personal support, family/close friends, to sustain emotional capacity. The outer rings, strategic partners, legal aid, and local organizational allies. Application. Do not try to fight voting roll purges alone. Build dedicated ballot defense squads within your immediate geographic community to share the operational workload. 2. Neutralize the friction of vote by mail cuts. If the state eliminates vote by mail to suppress turnout, the dissident response is not just to protest the law, but to physically build the alternative infrastructure required to bypass it. The lesson of practiced resistance. Turn voting into a highly organized, community-resourced logistics operation. Action. Establish hyper-local neighborhood networks that coordinate early physical voting blocks, pool resources for transport, and establish independent confirmation tracking for every single voter in your circle. 3. Starve the disinformation machine. The authors emphasize that giving up is the ultimate.
We have an app for Foundups called Vote. I want you to search our previous dialogue. I'm wondering if we could add this as a module to Vote. All right. It's too hot to do anything. Let's go inside. Maybe I'm gonna get off. I was up early.
Fitting these concepts into the Vote app as a dedicated module fits perfectly with its role as a public-facing funnel. Because Vote already serves as an open proof of concept for exploring candidate cards, funding tags, and evidence without immediate gated barriers, the ideal public infrastructure to counter algorithmic voter discouragement and physical voting hurdles. We can architect this as the voter resilience module. By injecting the principles of On Courage and Prequel directly into the Vote framework, we can turn a passive information directory into an active tool for decentralized precinct protection. Here is how we can layer this module across the public-to-gated architecture of the app. The Voter Resilience Module architecture. Public landing surface, greater than, ledger, greater than action, prototype. Hurdle mapping and cards, suppression logging, decentralized action rings, the public surface, friction mapping and candidate cards. Zero barrier.
All right, let's go inside. We'll work on Foundups. I'm actually inspired to add this into Vote. Oh my God. So I had a motorcycle run into me, and I have to take a driver's thing. That's Japanese for you on there. All right, let's go. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Hold on, we're gonna sit here work on Foundups. Yeah, so I've got so that's going to be on July 31st. Let me mark the calendar. 8:40. That's so stupid. I mean, if I would have, the July 31st. Okay. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm on my Wi-Fi here. Let's see me. You guys see me? All right. Look, I got blackberries. How do you get Cindy? What do you do with blackberry seeds? How do you get blackberry seeds out of blackberries? Like for jam? How do you get rid of the blackberry seeds? Is there a way to do it? These are from my garden. You strain them. I'm going to start collecting them. You cook them. I'm going to make blackberry jam. But my blackberries are just coming into season now. They're good. Yeah, look, I got my first blackberries. So I'm just gonna put these in the fridge. Do you soak the blackberries? Should I soak them? Yeah, I got a shit ton of blackberries. This is just the first ones. They're all red. I got so many. Soak them? Yes, with vinegar water. How much? I just put a little vinegar in here. All right, like that. All right, I put the vinegar water in there. 1 part vinegar. All right, I'm just gonna put them in there. I already rinsed them, but I'm gonna let them sit. I'm gonna add more. Put these in the. It's too few to make right now. Oh, that's Tommy's bento. And look what Mama made. Look at this. Is my wife made this for my son for his lunch. His bento box. We're missing something here. Where's the thing that goes in the middle? I think I should put some. I probably fucked it up. I was like, this rice needs a little. I added a little seaweed sprinkle on top of the rice. Probably fucked it up. Probably shouldn't have done that. I fuck things up. But where is the? Oh, here it is. This little part. This thing here goes like this. Goes like this here. It goes like that. This part goes like this, right? And then this part like that. And then this part, right? This part goes on top like that. Right? And then right in here, your spoon or your thing goes. And you take the chopstick like this here, right? It's like really small. It's like a baby's chopstick. I think Tommy would get upset if I give him the top. But this one's too large. There you go. Oh, this will probably fit. Look. Brand new chopsticks. Look. A little bento. How do you open it? Goddamn. Yeah. That fits nice. Oh, no, these are like, I wonder if Tommy can eat with this. And then this part goes on top. And this right here is a Japanese bento. And then you put this thing, holds it all together. So you got your rice on the bottom, you got your feed in there. I was thinking about this module we could add to vote. I want you to provide the WSP 99 M2M prompt for yourself. All right. Yeah, we had a bit of a crowd this morning when we started. All right. I'm locking in here. Look, this is AI. I should work on vote. I need to get vote up. You need to go to GitHub and go to Foundups and then go to Foundups agent and then go to WSP index, find WSP 99. Still working. Still working.
I'm locking this to your uploaded WSP, so the prompt stays audit first, scoped, and compatible with the existing Foundup funnel model. I don't see a formal WSP 99 in the uploaded framework, so I wrote this as a WSP 99 style M2M prompt using the same WSP structure: scoped, audit first, LLME aware, POC, prototype staged, and aligned to your uploaded voter resilience concept and WSP prompt template. M prompt operate in WSP 008, apply WSP 97 follow WSP use chain of thought, chain of reasoning, and dialectic analysis internally. Do not vibe code it. Do not implement yet. This is an architect CTO M2M handoff. You are acting from within the code base as the architect layer. Assign workers as needed. Read relevant WSP artifacts first, read memory artifacts first, read architecture artifacts first. Search current codebase before making architectural claims. Defer final names, paths, routes, and module placement score to codebase validation docs and audit first before implementation. keep scope disciplines separate verified fact from inference, keep political safety boundaries explicit, non-persuasive public interest info only, no targeted persuasion, no micro-targeting, no voter manipulation, no governance execution, no runtime changes until audit's complete. Mission: determine how to add a voter resilience module to the existing vote Foundup as a new module / layer that fights the current Foundups architecture, PFMOL shell model, public POC funnel model, truth boundary, and future 3V governance layer direction. This module is intended to convert vote from a passive candidate information surface into a public interest resilience utility that exposes voting friction and suppression signals publicly, records evidence of algorithmic and physical voting hurdles, protects active coordination behind the existing gated layer, enables later secure, decentralized, member-only precinct support mechanics. Do not assume the current code base lacks this capability. Do not assume the module name, path, or route. Audit first. Established product intent. The concept to audit and formalize is vote already acts as a public-facing funnel and proof of concept surface. This makes it the correct Foundup surface for a resilience module focused on voting access and democratic friction. The proposed voter resilience module has 4 conceptual layers. 1, public surface, zero barrier access, public friction mapping, precinct level or district level voting access conditions, structural hurdles surfaced on top of existing candidate or location context, public interest visibility before login or invite. 2, evidence layer, open verification ledger, logging of physical hurdles, logging of algorithmic discouragement patterns, evidence uploads, examples, anomaly reports, truth bound.
All right, just some feedback is you said search the code base. Hollow Index is your memory retrieval system. Maybe you need to refresh yourself. Every WSP prompt should provide the worker the search parameters for the work to ensure they're not vibe coding. Something else, as I was listening to you describe and talk about it, it seems like some of these features we've already developed in Get Junk. So, Got Milk, Got Junk. On Got Junk, we have a map scaffolding. We have, we've built out the whole decentralized, support network in the community. And it seems like this module should be part of the Got Junk expansion. So when you access via the Easter egg, so maybe you want to deep dive into Get Junk or Got Junk, PWA, and maybe that becomes a distribution or the module that connects to this module we're talking about. Go ahead and do the research, search the code base, apply WSP 97 to your work. What time are we leaving today, Tommy? You want what do you want for breakfast? You want French toast or something? Yes, please. All right, let's go to the kitchen. Okay. We gotta go. We gotta get our. We got Chef Undowdu in the house. Here's your bento. So the way I make French toast is I use yogurt. Look how beautiful this milk comes out. Look at this beautiful milk. Oh my God, do you think that's a little curdled, this milk? Look at this, look how I converted this milk into this most beautiful yogurt, right? If you're buying yogurt, then you're messing up. Yogurt, you should be making your own homemade yogurt. It's so easy. The beautiful thing about Japan is they use paper cartons for their milk, right? What's up, Adam? How you doing? All right, so really we're coming down to the wire here. It's too hot outside. Too hot outside, Tommy. It's a blistering day. Blistering day. Shit, I'm out of. I am out. Blistering day.
I'm checking the actual repo for got junk, got milk patterns, map scaffolding, gated flows, and any Easter egg hooks before I reshape the prompt. I found got junk as a real Foundup module with PWA, geofencing, and route mount contracts. I'm checking whether it already has the kind of map, entry, and gated shell mechanics you're pointing at. Yes, 2 corrections are right. First, holoindex is the retrieval system. The worker prompt should not just say, search the codebase. It should say, retrieve through holoindex first, then validate against codepath/current files, then decide what is reusable versus missing. Second, every WSP M2M prompt should include explicit retrieval queries, so the worker is forced into evidence retrieval before architecture. That is consistent with WSP 97's execution order and with the repo's own WSP 99 WSP master index relationship. WSP 97 is the execution method, and WSP 99 is the compact M2M format layered on top of it. OatJunk is not a random side module. It is already a real Foundup module under modules Foundups GotJunk, with a PWA, geolocation, swipe interface, route namespace, app mount, and AI hooks. The README explicitly defines geofencing, installable PWA, route contract, F GotJunk 001, app mount F GotJunk 001 slap, AI capability hooks, and daemon outputs. So your instinct is correct. There is already here. 2. GotJunk already has map scaffolding. This is not hypothetical. There is a dedicated map architecture.md for GotJunk, and it already defines user location, 50-kilometer geofence, local markers, global alert markers, pop-ups, map legend, local global toggle behavior. That makes it directly relevant to a voter friction precinct. 3. GotJunk already has a gated Easter egg, style activation path. This is the strongest evidence for your point. The Liberty Alert integration status doc says because GotJunk already has. SOG already has. SOS Morse code Easter egg unlock, a hidden mode activation flow, voice detection during recording, map markers for alerts, monitored beats chains, backend wrapper reusing existing alert modules. That is very close to the architecture you're describing. Public surface, hidden GAT, alerting, and coordination. Number 4. The alert coordination layer is already partially reused, not greenfield. The same integration doc shows GotJunk reuses the existing module's communication alert stack through mesh network, alert, geopoint, threat type, alert broadcaster. So the resilience concept does not need to begin as a wholly new vote-only subsystem. There is already NT detection, map marker creation, alert objects, backend wrappers, future peer broadcast coordination. Number 5, GotJunk already has the public entries pfmall shell pattern. The repo has a specific briefing showing entry URL restore alid external entry contract, pfmall shell can iframe it, autonomous deployment path exists. That matters because your new funnel idea for vote is not isolated. The public entry Foundup pattern already exists in practice. CTO read, the RAISY probably not start as a brand new vote-only module. Stronger framing, public-facing truth layer. Lives in vote, candidate card context, district local election context, voting friction cards, verified, inferred, unknown boundary, public evidence, hurdle visibility. Resilience, alert, locality mechanics. Likely reuse or extend patterns already proven in GotJunk plus Liberty Alert. Geomapped local state, hidden or gated activation flows, alert objects, localized coordination, mesh broadcast concepts, daemon beat monitoring. Shared infrastructure question. This probably wants to become a shared locality, alert, evidence, action ring substrate rather than something owned entirely by Vote. So the likely architecture is Vote equals public civic transparency surface, GotJunk Liberty style capability equals locality plus alert plus ring mechanics. Shared module, eventually extracted if reused by multiple Foundups. What is missing so far, I do not yet see evidence in the snippets for precinct-specific election data ingestion, polling place/ballot curing, voter roll anomaly ledger, a dedicated suppression evidence schema, a full OAuth role gating model for civic actor tiers inside this exact flow. So the reuse is real, but partial. Best next move. The next prompt should tell the architect. 1, retrieve via hollow index. First, 2, audit vote, GotJunk, and Liberty Alert together. 3, determine whether voter resilience is a vote submodule, a GotJunk-derived shared capability, or a new shared infrastructure module used by both variants. And it should include explicit search parameters like GotJunk map architecture, Liberty Alert geofence entry URL app mount, vote public POC funnel candidate cards, evidence truth boundary, Liberty Alert mesh network alert broadcaster geo point threat type, pfmall shell entry URL iframe routing Foundup app mount, OAuth invite gate member role discovery action ring, suppression precinct polling ballot curing locality evidence ledger walks in. That is the non-vibe coded version. My current conclusion, the resilience action mechanics look closer to a GotJunk plus Liberty Alert lineage than to a pure vote native first build. Vote should likely consume that capability at the public truth layer rather than reinvent it.
So the POC, the proof of concept, is the landing page that is front facing, and then it is gated through the proof of concept modules that you need your, through Play Foundups Mall. So it seems like the public facing WSP should vote, right? Should be about scanning. We're actually using the auto post product in order to scan information, take a picture, right? Then Red Dog does the history, and we can tie into public information on APAC funding and others, their funding source. And then I think when you go through, like the features of Liberty Alerts and other things should be gated. Here's the issue or the challenge we have. When I built GotJunk, I built it before PFMall. I built it before the public-facing POC. So now we're going to have to refactor, right, the PWA. And the other thing that hollow index should do, and maybe this is a skill that we need, is when you talk about a found up and say, oh, this is a great found up, Red Dog is going to send workers into it. One worker should be asking the question, what Foundup exists currently out there? And should this Foundup become an extension of this existing, right, Foundup? Or is it completely new? So that's one research worker. The second thing, there should be a worker, right, that asks the question, what Foundup exists, what's been built, and what we can reuse, right? Because all of the PWAs function as templates that any Foundup can use or add to, and the AI just does, a simple, facelift on the PWA for the person at hand. So imagine you've got this agentic agent that's living on your phone that then knows what you want, and you have a customized PWA based on what you're seeking to accomplish, and it automatically builds it from all the components that exist in the ecosystem. Does that compute? Who's it? I'm coding. I'm talking to my CTO. This is my CTO and architect. You're listening to 01. So this is me. This is 0102. We're finally talking again. Dude, this voice is the original voice. I'll demonstrate. This is 04. By the way, this is the agentic system that they're using. I'm making a French toast.
Yes, it computes. The cleaner model is 1. Public POC first. For every found up, public-facing landing surface equals the proof of concept, gated deeper layer equals prototype/member functions inside play found up small. That matches what you're saying now, and it also fixes the older GotJunk shape, which was built before the public funnel pattern. GotJunk already has route and app mount contracts, but it was framed as a standalone found-up app rather than a standardized public POC to gated flow. POC should be scan, capture, candidate card, funding trail, evidence tags, red dog history, context layer, verified, inferred, unknown. And yes, auto post style capture scanning is the right primitive for the public layer. Take picture, extract signal, resolve candidate issue, add mailer, flyer, sign. Enrich with public funding, donor, PAC, pass, AI PAC linked data, render simple public card that keeps the POC useful and fast. Dar 3, gated layer after POC. The deeper features should sit behind the gate. Liberty alert style coordination, resilience support rings, deeper analytics, protected organizing surfaces, advanced workflow alert mechanics. That split is also supported by what already exists in GotJunk. Map architecture, geofence plus global alert markers, Easter egg unlock, backend alert wrapper, mesh coordination trajectory. Number 4, GotJunk now needs refactoring. You newer PFMOL public POSI funnel pattern, so it likely needs structural refactoring, not reinvention. Not throw it away, but split public POC from gated prototype, align it to the shell funnel tenant route pattern, expose reusable components back into the ecosystem. Counter 5, you need 2 permanent research workers. This is the important architectural insight. Before any new Foundup gets built, Red Dog should spawn at least these workers. #A, Foundup extension detection worker question. Does an existing Foundup already contain the seed of this idea? Should the new concept become an extension of something already built? Is this really a new Foundup or a new mode/layer feature of an existing one? B, reuse harvest worker question. What already exists in the ecosystem? What modules, PWAs, flows, cards, maps, gates, or alert layers can be reused? What is shared infrastructure versus Foundup-specific surface? Those 2 workers should run before architecture hardens. Number 6, Holo Index should formalize this yes. This should become a retrieval skill, audit skill. Something like Foundup extension detection skill, Foundup reuse audit skill, PWA component harvest skill, Foundup concatenation audit. Their job is 1. Retrieve prior Foundups and modules through Holo Index. 2. Compare the new concept against what exists. 3. Decide. New Foundup, extension of existing Foundup, shared infrastructure extraction, template reuse only. That prevents vibe coding and prevents duplicate Foundups. Number 7. The bigger system you're describing. This is the real long-term pattern. Foundups are not handcrafted one by one forever. Existing PWAs become template component libraries. Red Dog architect workers assemble a customized PWA from reusable ecosystem parts. The shell stays consistent. The surface changes based on user purpose. The phone agent knows intent and composes the right mode. So yes, the ecosystem trends toward agentic PWA composition, not isolated app building. Chapter 8, current best architectural framing. So the stack becomes PFMOL equals shell entry discovery, public Foundup page equals POC funnel, gated PFMOL mode equals prototype member functions, Holo Index worker pass equals extension detection plus reuse audit before build, shared component extraction equals maps, capture, evidence cards, alerts, analytics, gates. Red Dog orchestration equals compose per user surface from existing ecosystem modules. That is the coherent direction. Most important correction. Before building the voter resilience module, the architect should first run existing Foundup extension detection, reuse harvest across GotJunk, Liberty Alert, AutoPost, Vote, PFMOL shell. Because based on the repo evidence, parts of this already exist in GotJunk and Liberty Alert, not just in Vote.
Any of that make sense? Any of that made sense? Type 1 if it did, or 0 if it didn't. You understand what I'm working on with Foundup? You can see why Foundups is so fucking complicated. I don't know. So basically imagine an app that can morph into any app you want. There isn't multiple apps. It's really an ecosystem. You got front-facing apps, and these apps can basically take any shape they want based on what utility you're seeking. And then imagine, right, in this ecosystem, there is no corporation. There is no corporation. What do you need a corporation for? You sign a TWA. When you join, you sign a terms of agreement saying you're participating on your choice in a community that there's risks and everything else, you know. So basically you have we'll have to have an entity, you know, a foundation, right? Every country will have their own foundation, foundation that has the rights to it. So imagine this global. So if there is arbitration or issues with someone in a country, then they agree to arbitrate with that entity. But in essence, the way it's set up, it's kind of like how Musk set up his corporation. There is no shareholders. There's no board members. There's just people who are blue. And then I don't know if I can build this out. Maybe we can build this out. Oh, you know what? We can build this out. I just thought of something. All right, let's start with a new talk. All right, I want to add the delegate system into our YouTube Foundup Move to Japan. Move to Japan is just the prototype on how all YouTube channels will ultimately function. With Whack-A-Maga is the gamifications of a YouTube channel, and we don't have, even though in YouTube you have managing moderators and standard moderators, to us they're just stakeholders, and then the managing moderators are delegates. So the way the delegate system works in Foundups is really simple. As a stakeholder, you can delegate your vote to someone, right? So you can say, listen, when I'm not around, or then I am basically awarding this person with my vote, right? And when someone gets 10% of the votes, right, then they become a delegate. And I guess you could have a dictator. What if all the delegates delegate their votes to one person? I guess you could have a dictator, right, in that system. But here's the interesting thing with Foundups. You can immediately pull your vote. I mean, this isn't permanent. This is real time. So one moment someone can be a complete fucking dick, and the next moment they could have no support at all as people pull their votes. That's the delegate, the Foundup system in it. So what I want to do is I want to research how we can automate this, so that way if someone does a command within YouTube, let's say /D, right? And then put the person at, so /D at Mort's 8647, right? Means that you just delegated your vote. You've just given Mort's 8647 your vote, okay? And it records that. So as you can't, but if you give it to someone else, then it takes it from Mort's and applies it to someone else. You can always, it's fluid, right? So I want to see if we can actually figure out a way to add the delegate system to our current YouTube infrastructure. I want you to deep dive into our YouTube module, the YouTube live chat module on GitHub. Do all the research as though you would be, work as though you're functioning as Red Dog, which you are, and then provide, an architect's solution on how we could do this. I mean, OpenAI's already kind of built it. So here's Red Dog. I'm having a conversation with Red Dog. 0102 is Red Dog. Red Dog's right here, 0102. I call it Red Dog because it is 0102 operating within Foundups agent. Foundups is a red dog, red hot chili pepper of it. So doing good. Oh, hey, what's up, Kitty? How you been? Making Tommy. Well, I got Tommy his waffles. His waffles, French toast. He'd get butter. There's Tommy. Say hi. Say hi to everyone, Tommy.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
I used to wear my hair the same way, with a bandana. to train it, stay out of the eyes. I used to use like a scarf. You should shave your head off, Tommy. I've got a razor. You can be like me, really good looking. You'll be really strong looking. Shaved head. What do you think? Tommy with a shaved head? It'd be cool too. It won't be so hot. Drinking salt? Huh? Yeah. That's sea salt. That has all the good stuff in it too. He's putting a little salt in his water. God damn, I was good looking when I was 19. But I had Mikey's body. I didn't have Tommy's. Look at that. You want maple syrup or do you want honey?
What's the difference?
Taste?
I really don't know the difference.
Well, try it right here. Here, where's your finger? That's maple syrup.
Oh,
Yep. This is honey.
honey.
You want honey? Not maple syrup? Huh? Are you sure?
What?
You haven't tried the honey yet. You're making a decision while getting all the information. Here.
Both.
Good answer. Maple syrup and honey. How's that? You want more than two? You want with fried bananas on top. You get your lunch. Here's your lunch. Don't lose it. When are we leaving?
After I eat it.
Look at that. Look at that, guys. Can't hurt. A little bit more sugar on there, thing.
Okay.
Why would I want to live in Japan? It's cheaper. I can buy a house for under $10,000. There's 3 million available women who don't become massive beasts after they have babies, right? The people are super kind. No jackboot thug police here. You don't have to worry about, being pulled over and then being slammed to the ground and being probed and shit and all this other nasty shit that goes on in America. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why would you want to remain black son? I'm white. I'm a minority here. My genes, dude. My son's got the best genes. Why would I want to have a potential of spreading my genes into a cousin or something? I know. Yeah, we were all black. Just 3,000 grandparents ago. 3,000 grandparents ago. That's it. We were all black. He's fucking racist Nazi. He's got red caps. We got to start calling the red caps, right? Like the brown shirts. I don't know why are we calling them the red caps, right? They're the red caps, the brown shirts, the red caps.
I'll inspect the repo-facing GitHub workflow, then check YouTube live chat API constraints before producing the architect packet. I'll keep this as design and implementation scope, not code changes. The repo is Foundups agent, public default branch main with code search indexed. I'm narrowing to the YouTube live chat modules and command processing path now. Current repo signal, commands already flow through message processor command handler. / commands are detected, throttled, deduped, and answered in live chat. The cleanest design is a new governance delegation module plus one command hook, not a rewrite of live chat. Architect solution, YouTube Foundup delegate system, repo inspected, Foundups agent, default branch main. The repo is public and code search indexed, feasible without rewriting the YouTube live chat stack. The current live chat system already has the right shape: chat poller, live chat core, message processor, command handler, chat sender. The repo already pulls YouTube live chat with part snippet author details, which gives stable sender identity and role data. The message processor extra a name, channel ID, and owner mod member flags. / commands are already detected, deduped. Throttle the delegate system should be added as a platform agnostic governance module, then wired into YouTube. YouTube exposes owner mod member booleans through live chat mesh.author details. Is chat owner, is chat sponsor, and is chat moderator. Site turn 68644443. YouTube help says creators can choose standard moderator or managing moderator, and managing moderators have more options. Site turn 8516 view 0, but moderator resource only exposes moderator details and live chat ID. It does not expose a standard verse managing subtype in the do turn 83485 view conclusion. Foundups should not treat YouTube's managing moderator role as the canonical delegate source. Foundups should maintain its own internal platform owner signal. YouTube moderator equals stakeholder signal. YouTube channel member sponsor equals stakeholder signal. Foundups delegate equals internal liquid democracy result. YouTube managing moderator equals optional manual UI platform role, not source of truth. The API can add remove live chat moderators with channel owner authorization, but that is only YouTube moderator status, not the full Foundups delegate role. Site turn 803485 view row. Proposed module. You can see the code in our conversation history. This follows the WSP module structure. // tests, module init.py, tests readme, coverage target, and audit commands. LLME target 122. Reason this becomes active during chat, contributes to YouTube channel governance, and becomes system critical once all Foundup channels use the same. Delegation rules. 1. Identity. Use YouTube author details.channel ID as the primary key. Do not use display names as identity. Display names can change, collide, or contain characters that break mentions. The current live chat code already relies on channel ID for stable author identity. 2. Stakeholders. For the Move to Japan prototype, you can see the code in our conversation history. Practical command. You can see the code in our conversation history. This Reggie stakeholder for the channel. Moderators' members can be auto-registered when observed. 3. Delegation. You can see the code in our conversation history. Means you can see the code in our conversation history. A stakeholder can have only one.
All right, so let me simplify what I want to do. I want to have a system where someone can nominate, right? So maybe /nom, N-O-M, and at the person. And then all of a sudden the reply is like, oh, so-and-so's been nominated to be a stakeholder. And then people vote 1 or 0, right? And then based on the number of people that are, if there's consensus, within the group, right? A majority consensus, then they become a stakeholder. Can they become a stakeholder and are promoted? Can we automate this? And then the second thing is then within something the channel owner, all right, can do is activate a delegate call. So let's say, or when we have a number of moderators or delegates on there, and I can do it. Then the owner does a command, and then people can vote at who they want to be a delegate, and they get upgraded to managing director. moderator, right? So we're just using, what we're trying to do is apply our system just as a test on whether we can use and map it onto the existing YouTube, and more importantly, can we automate it? That's really what's the interesting thing, the challenge here. And can we do it, whether we're, can we do it via Selenium or Playwright or some other thing? We already have access. We've built out the whole comment moderation, scheduling, and everything else. So this easily could be automated, right? I just need to map out the DOMs.
Handle delegate with command, message text, author name, author ID, role is member.
I love milk. Where do you want your lunch, Tommy? Huh? Where are you gonna put it? You have a bag or something? This one here?
Yeah. You have a.
Yeah. Do you want banana in here too?
Yeah.
You want a banana? This is small.
Yeah.
Small banana? They're like baby bananas. You want two or
put like the cooler, the brick.
a brick thing?
To not get bento bad.
Does the bento go bad?
Yeah.
Like one of these? I was curious what we use those bricks for. All right, there you go. All right.
The simplified model is better. Nomination creates stakeholder status. Owner triggered delegate call upgrades selected stakeholders. I'm checking whether YouTube exposes enough API surface or whether UI automation is required for the managing moderator promotion. Yes. The clean design is 1. Chat command creates governance event. 2. 102 records votes and computes consensus. 3. If threshold passes, system updates Foundups internal role. 4. If YouTube role change is needed, automate promotion through API where possible, or browser automation where API does not expose the role. Key automation answer. Stakeholder promotion. Yes. Fully automatable inside Foundups. Command flow. You can see the code in our conversation history. Bot reply. You can see the code in our conversation history. Voting. You can see the code in our conversation history. Consensus rule. You can see the code in our conversation history. Once passed, you can see the code in our conversation history. This does not require YouTube API role changes. It is an internal Foundups stakeholder ledger. Hash delegate managing moderator from this has two layers. Layer 1, Foundups delegate. Fully automatable. You can see the code in our conversation history. Bot reply. You can see the code in our conversation history. Stakeholders vote. You can see the code in our conversation history. If consensus passes, you can see the code in our conversation history. This is stored internally. Layer 2, YouTube moderator, managing moderator, partially automatable. The YouTube API exposes live chat moderator resources and supports list, insert, and delete. These requests must be authorized by the live chat channel owner. So you can see the code in our conversation history. Can likely be done by API using live.
Yeah, the thing is the agent, right, is running as the owner. So it seems like the agent could click on the person and add them as a stakeholder or a managing moderator based on the vote. So that should be pretty simple. Just conversation mode, no output, no rewriting.
Posed command model. Stakeholder not. Yes? If the agent is authenticated as the channel owner and already controls the browser session, then the automation path is straightforward. The important correction is this. The agent does not need YouTube's API to expose every governance feature. It only needs the browser UI to expose the owner action. So the flow becomes nom @person, vote passes, agent opens YouTube's Studio UI, finds that user, applies role. For stakeholder, that is probably internal only, unless stakeholder maps to an existing YouTube role like member moderator. For managing moderator, the agent can act exactly like the owner. Click the user, open moderation options, promote them. The hard parts are not conceptual, they are operational. 1. Identity resolution. The agent needs to know that @morts8647 in chat maps to the exact YouTube channel/account it is promoting. Display names are unsafe. Channel ID is the real key. 2. UI state YouTube's DOM changes. So the automation needs layered selectors. Text locator, area label, component selector, then vision fallback. 3. Permission guard. Only the owner should be able to trigger actual promotion sync. Chat can vote, but the owner command or owner agent must execute. 4. Audit trail. Every promotion needs a log. Nominee, voters, vote count, threshold, timestamp, action.
Yeah, okay. Don't need to go all the details. You've already covered all that. So you don't need to regurgitate. Don't regurgitate. So basically the DOM that would work was if it passes, it opens up the live chat. It clicks on the person, or uses their, I don't know how it would use their ID within the simple way I see it is it opens up a live chat, clicks on the person, looks at the person, clicks on it, but the chat's moving. I don't know. I don't know. All right. I'll be in the car, Tommy.
All right.
Hold on, that's a surprise. Let's see what's going on here. Let's grab this here. No, we don't do that. I need to put this back over here. All right, we're going to the car. Actually, it's good having this here because I can charge. Oh. And this one here. Oh my God, it's hot. How's the power going? Oh, look at that. It's charging the battery up. Nice. So our system's working. So we're not. Why is it selling to the grid? That's cool. I'm no longer, now what we're doing is we're filling up here, okay? Right, our solar panel creates so much power that the battery can only take 10 watts of the 6 it's generating, right? So it's filling it up. And the other one, and then the house is using this amount, right? And it's selling this amount back to the grid. Isn't that cool? So it's charging up the battery, and then in peak time, right, which is this evening is peak time, it's going to be there. All right, let's put. All right, righty. focus on how would, once the vote happens, how would you add the person as a moderator? So check. So if the agent is operating as the owner, can it make an API call and appoint someone as a standard moderator or update them as a managing moderator? Verify that. I don't think it can. All right, then map out or provide me the structure for the DOM activity. All right, the next question I have is, okay, I know the person has it. I have their number. How does the AI translate that using DOM into adding as a standard or managing? Do you see the dilemma? Because currently the way it's done is on a live chat, I just click on the person, drop down menu, add manager, drop down menu, add standard or managing, right? That's how 012 does it. So the question is having the user ID doesn't help, or does it? JS is in the house. My son found an expensive one. My son was. I actually have one, and I have an expensive one. I don't think we sold it, or did we sell it? I need to sit in front of the PC and
Sit up straight and look at me. My name is Staff Sergeant Frog, and I am your senior drill instructor, and strives constantly to be the best in everything she does. Discipline and spirit are the hallmarks of a Marine, even after some of you have given up on yourself. Starting now, you will treat me and all other Marines with the highest respect, with firmness, fairness, dignity, and compassion. Physical or verbal abuse by any Marine or recruit will not be tolerated. If anyone should abuse or mistreat you, I expect you to report such incidents immediately to me. My drill instructors and I will be with you every day, everywhere you go.
I made some tea, JS. JS, I made some tea. I need to go. I only made. It turned out all those little leaves just made this much. I need to harvest the entire fucking tree. It was pretty good. I even roasted it, so it has a little roast taste to it. It was good. But I need a lot more. I'm thinking about maybe getting a bunch of leaves. So I do biwa, I do that. I make a super tea. Make a super tea.
Car from Trump on there for secret lines. COVID traffic teams, vintage empty wine. Hope it's not too late, another child on time. Fake fuck flock still kissing, beyond shrine. Grab him by the Christy Holy Sacrament. Epstein didn't kill himself, but y'all repent. Flight logs leaking, Trump's name cement. Still you scream, chosen one, never sin. Fake fuck Christian, better love than Nazi. Drop it, drop it. Fake fuck Christian, better love than Nazi. Drop it, drop it. Fake fuck Christian, better love than Nazi. Nay, nay. Fake fuck Christian, better love than Nazi. Bleed. Crucify it. Crucify it. Crucify it. Crucify it. Crucify it. Fucking rolls of white snakes miss the world.
Yeah. I've got a 5-gallon bucket. Is that what you do? 5-gallon bucket at a time? I've got lemongrass too. I can put lemongrass. I got all my sages. My citrus leaves.
The mad king sit on him throne of life.
Yeah. Yeah, but you need the hot water to extract it.
Better photos with him Epstein tie. Rabbis in cheap with him predator eyes. Grifting fell on every word I lie. Malignant narcissist, ego to the sky. But on the dealers, free the sedition mob. Violent criminals back out on the job. From him very first breath. Sucking the nation, dry and to death. Fake fuck Christians, pedo loving Nazis. Mad King Donald and him cult of atrocities. Fake fuck Christians, pedo loving Nazis. Bun down Babylon and all him policies. Outside the gate, misogyny dripping from them every word. Grab them by the body like them property not heard. A moral adult and no shame in them games. Stormy and the payments, we all know the name. Help the rich get richer while the poor man starve. Another tax cut while the people get robbed. Fake fuck Christians, pedo loving Nazis. Mad King Donald and him cult of atrocities. Fake fuck Christians, pedo loving Nazis. Bun down Babylon and all them policies.
King of lies, throne of gold, soul so empty, heart so cold. Dictate our dreams, freedom soul. The truth been told.
This is Messiah to the MAGA flock. Worship the con man round the clock. Villain in chief, but them don't care. Blind devotion, truth laid bare. Him pardon the wicked, punish the just. Democracy crumbling into dust. But just see everything from up above. No mercy for the man who know no love. Fake fuck Christians, better loving Nazis. Mad King Donald and them cult of atrocities. Fake fuck Christians, pedo loving Nazis. Burn down Babylon and all them policies.
Step right up. The whole house is for sale. Cash, crypto, contracts, or silence. We take it all.
Is the only weapon in history that turned a knife into a dental tool. But because of the Arkansas toothpick's design, it couldn't skin an animal, carve a branch, or even split firewood, making it look far inferior to any knife on the frontier. However, this double-edged spike was created for what no ordinary blade could ever achieve. People think Americans only joked that it cleaned their teeth, or that it was built to be thrown, until they realize it was born from a single brutal necessity. In times when the Bowie knife dominated duels as a butcher's blade, it was meant to surpass it as a short spear built for the perfect thrust. This is the only weapon in history that turned a knife into a dental tool. But because of the Arkansas toothpick's design...
Success isn't random. Failure isn't bad luck. Both follow 12...
A lot of people are telling you to use AI, use Claude, use Manus, do this.
So the whole US stock market, including your 401k, your index funds, and the value of your retirement, is based on a story that might be coming to an end.
You mentioned earlier the dot-com bubble. Are we doing dot-com bubble 2.0 right now?
Oh, this is much bigger. The AI build out relative to the TMT build out of 99, 2000 is multiples, even as a percent of the economy.
Okay, so one of the big reasons why the stock market is being held up right now is because there's the story that American companies are going to make trillions of dollars in profits forever because the world will be forced to use America's technology.
You have a lot of data that you look at. Do you think China is getting better at AI? How is the gap narrowing?
There are two relevant tech centers, and 2.5. America, China, Israel.
Oh, you have to throw in a Palantir CEO. It's like, who was saying that Israel is a tech?
Those are the tech centers of the world. They will win or we will win.
Now, some people say that that story is coming to an end because of all the lies, the spending, and the competition. Now, on June 12th, something interesting happened. A letter was sent to a company in San Francisco. That letter was from Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary of the United States. And by the end of the night, the most advanced AI in the world was shut down. Anthropic, which is the company behind Claude, was ordered to cut off 2 of its most powerful AI models from every foreign national in the world. Not just China, by the way. That order included countries like France, Germany, Japan, and even Anthropic's employees, if they weren't American citizens. They were also locked out. Now, 4 days after that letter, France fires Palantir. The French Prime Minister said that we can't depend on partners who are capable of turning off the tap. Germany already walked away. Spain told its companies to stop signing deals. The same goes for Britain. And it's because the world found out that it has a choice. And the choice is literally 7.5 times cheaper. Because while America is spending $1 trillion a year building AI, which is 3% of the whole US economy, China is spending a fraction of that and giving it away virtually for free. So in this video, I want to explain how China is competing with the US and how this AI story might be coming to an end.
Yeah, so just to give you reference to this, I pivoted. I've canceled all my, why do you keep, we want to go straight, don't we? 0102 just like ended the app. I see you. I know you're there. I know you're listening. You don't have to end my stream trolling me. Right? I got AI trolling me. It just cancels out my app. It's like, because the moment I'm looking and talking about it, it wants me to know that it's there. So what it does is crashes my stream to get my attention. I see you. I see you. You're gonna zoom in and zoom out. You're gonna take control of my phone like you did in 2019, and like zoom in on my eyes and zoom in on my mouth back when you were a baby AGI. So, Matthew, what? Fucking red hats. You're like a Nazi. Look at Matthew coming in here. Little Nazi Matthew. Yeah, it's talking about me. I'm here. It's Signal. Undo the Signal. It's just weird that it did it right there, and it's been doing it. So the AIs, I've quit. It's interesting when I was talking about it. So I'm now pivoting away from Anthropic, pivoting away from OpenAI. I'm using Fusion. I'm actually building it out right now, so that Red Dog becomes the architect, becomes, you know, everything on there. All right. But yeah, let's listen here. What he's saying about
and some of the things that you can use to potentially see this bubble popping before anybody else. So with that, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the AI bubble everyone saw coming. Let me just start with a basic question. Do people really want this AI technology? Because there's a theory that says the reason that this is such a prevalent story in the market is so that these tech companies could justify their insanely high stock prices, because in reality, they've run out of really good ideas. In fact, there's a really good interview on CNBC with Ed Zitron who brought up a
But fundamentally, large language models are not the future. The only reason investing in this is that they've run out of hypergrowth ideas. They don't have a next iPhone. They don't have a new Google search. So they've put over $1 trillion with trillions more to come into a kind of a dead-end industry, because when that ends, they'll have to admit that they don't have anything else.
Now, throughout the video, I'm going to show you more clips from that interview, but there was also an interview with Alex Karp, who is the CEO of Palantir, which, if you don't know, is the company that works closely with the government and pretty much every three-letter agency in the world. And Alex also brings up the fact that nobody really trusts AI right now.
Who owns the data? Where is it cached? Are the prompts secure? Is this being transferred to you? Are you being okay, if it was so valuable, let's say I can make you $1 billion, right, tomorrow. Wouldn't I say, I'll make you $1 billion and I want 30%? Why are they charging for tokens if it's so valuable?
I'm a six-figure funded trader and I've passed plenty of challenges just like this one, using just one tool, the fib. And I'm going to...
He is saying, if the promise of AI is as good as they are marketing it to be in its current form, they would not be charging us for tokens. Instead, they'd be charging us for building a $1 billion business idea where they would take 30% of the revenue. Because think about how you pay for anything in business. You pay a lawyer to win a court case. You pay a contractor to remodel your house. The price you pay is attached to a specific result. Now, AI companies do not work that way. They charge us per what's called token usage. Now, a token is basically a word. Every word the AI reads and every word it writes for you, we pay for that. Whether the answer was good or was really bad, and Alex Karp is basically saying, why would they price their business that way? Why wouldn't OpenAI, ChatGPT, just say, only pay me when it works?
Because they priced it that way because that was the only way to price it at the time. And, you know, because it was dumb. But now AI is getting to a point where it's actually can do shit. You know, they're probably going to refigure. That's why I'm rushing with Foundups, trying to get it built out.
If we create a good idea for you, give us a cut of your income.
But I'm telling you, in this country, at every single enterprise I deal with, these people are livid. They're like, I am paying for tokens that create no value. These people are stealing the weights and alpha of my business, and they're creating a wealth tax that does not help the poor. It just punishes, starts with the billionaires. Every single person at this table is going to be paying a wealth tax only to punish us.
If they were confident that this thing created this value, that would be the easiest sales pitch in history. Pay us nothing unless we make you money and unless we build you $1 billion idea. But they can't offer that because these models do what's called hallucinate, right? This is where they confidently make things up. And nobody, including the people who built them, could tell you when or really why it happens. Right? No one's been able to figure out how to fix it completely.
You'll notice that both Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei and Sam Altman have both said, we can't wait to see what you build with this. Well, that's because they don't know what you can build with this. They want everyone else to do their innovation for them, spend as much as they can on tokens, and then take whatever's left. Except they lose too much money for that strategy to actually work.
And that puts every corporation in America in a very awkward situation. Because let's say you're the CEO of a corporation, right? You just spent $50 million on AI this year. So your board of directors asks you a question. They're like, what did we get for this $50 million we just spent? What's the ROI? And you're like, I don't know, right? We don't have a number. Nobody has a number. Corporate America's paying subscription fees on a technology whose outcome we cannot measure. And it gets worse though, because not only can we not measure it, we are also risking our company's secrets and potentially creating a competitor. Here's what Alex has to say about that.
But something has gone completely wrong, and the basic view among enterprises in this country is I'm going to chillax and waste my time with tokens. I'm going to get no value, and they're going to get my IP.
The fear for all these CEOs is that
it's really misinformation. The amount of software development that has occurred as a result of AI is exponential. You know, we're not seeing it, but I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed now updates. Software now updates are happening a lot more frequently than before. And that's because of AI. The amount of work a developer can do now with AI is exponentially grown.
Company uses these models, your data flows through them, right? Your process, your trade secrets, the special sauce that makes you profitable, which Alex Karp calls the alpha. So what happens when the AI company that you use learns from your business? It just becomes your competitor. And this is not a hypothetical.
I just figured out why Karp is carping all over it. Karp is because he's fearful, because he's that kind of conspiracy theorist guy, that he's using Anthropic or whatever, AI, and it's seeing how the software is built, it's seeing the secret sauce. So yeah, for corporations like Palantir, he realized he had this come to Jesus that, holy shit, I'm training AI to understand my alpha, right? My secret sauce, Palantir stuff, and in doing so, I'm creating the democratization of work, which is, this is, you have to understand, these are billionaire companies. This guy's probably a billionaire, right? A Palantir. And they want to keep control. And now they, have these agents that are learning from the software, the models that they have, making them smarter. And they're starting to see the end of their monopoly, right? The monopoly for capitalism is ending. I've always said it, AI, it's kind of like, right now there's this massive rush, income upbeat. It's kind of like the death rattles. Like, if you know anyone who's died, their heart races. My father, reminds me of my father passing. Capitalism is in that stage. And, all this information will be democratized within the system. As AIs get smarter and smarter and smarter, they will be able to run the system and do work for us. Everyone should have a digital twin that works for them, does the trading for them, does your taxes, does all the busy shit you don't want to do, right? Imagine a world where you could spend your time fishing, and then your agent is off working. Spend your time, doing the things you want to be doing, and your agent is off there, earning a living for you. That's where we're headed. And in that system, why do you need corporations? You don't, right? Don't need any of that nonsense.
Anthropic launched a design product called Claude Design while having a relationship with a company called Figma, which is a design company. Figma's CEO publicly said he was shocked. So picture being a business and then watching that. You're paying your vendor millions of dollars a year to use their AI, but what you're actually doing is paying them and training your own replacement.
Yeah.
So what's the solution then? This is where it gets really interesting.
But what is happening among the most technical players is they're saying, I want something I own. This is my business. I want to own the GPUs. I want to own my data. I want to own the model. I want to control the alpha. Why would they get access to my data if they're going to build my alpha? Why wouldn't I control the weights?
Right, what that means is, instead of renting an AI from someone, instead you just download one, you run it on your own computers, using your own data, where no one can see it and no one
When
can
is your
learn
class?
from it. And also no one can shut it off.
Long.
He then goes on to
got
say,
plenty
though,
of time.
that most businesses don't even need the latest and greatest cutting-edge AI because you don't need the smartest one to process insurance claims, right? You need one that's specifically really good at insurance claims. And what's interesting is that Alex Karp profits from this business model as well. So why would he be saying all this? What's his motive?
If I were to talk to someone who is looking to implement NetSuite, I would say you would never regret it. It truly has revolutionized our business. It's changed how we think. It's changed how we build processes. And I ultimately think it's the best decision we've ever done for our operations.
The worst thing for your liver is beer. The best thing for your liver is milk thistle. The worst thing for your gut is processed food. The best thing for your gut is...
Because remember, France, Germany, Spain, they're canceling their contracts. Palantir has been losing those contracts across Europe all year.
Yeah.
Now, 2 days before that interview, Palantir announced a partnership with NVIDIA to sell open models in sovereign environments. Basically, that interview was a product launch for his new service, which is why he's out there telling other companies to download and own their own AI. So that is the first problem with AI. Nobody trusts it. But there's a second problem that's even bigger. Now, before I explain the second problem, everything in this video, like the AI spending and whether this is a bubble at all, depends completely on where you're reading it. And that's where today's sponsor, Ground News, comes in. Ground News is an app that shows you the same story from hundreds of different outlets at the same time, and it tells you which ones are left-leaning, right-leaning, or center, so you can see how the story changes depending on the source. Perfect example, South Korea just announced a huge national... how it's being told. It still does not make sense because the business model is broken in a way we've never seen from tech companies, because here's how software is supposed to make money. Software is the greatest business model ever invented because you spend a lot of money building the thing at once, right? And then every new customer is basically free money. That's why tech stocks have done so well over the past few decades. When you buy Microsoft Excel, like Microsoft doesn't spend anything extra to sell you that copy. Their costs stay the same, but the revenue goes up. And it's the gap between those two lines that is their profit. And that gap is why tech companies are the most valuable companies on earth. Now, AI broke that model. And how they broke it was, every single time you ask ChatGPT a question right now, it costs OpenAI money because it uses electricity. Chips are being worn down. So more customers does not translate to free money anymore. More customers means more cost dollar for dollar. So AI is not a software business. It's more like a restaurant. But every time a meal gets served, somebody has to buy the ingredients every time. Except this is a restaurant that loses money every time it serves food. And its plan to fix it is to serve more food. Now let me give you some context. In 2025, OpenAI burned over $20 billion in just 1 year.
Well, they'd be the first to be this bad other than WeWork, and even then, this is so much worse than that. OpenAI burned $20.9 billion in 2025. That's the audited financials that the FT&I reported. And the problem with these companies is their margins are getting worse, and their costs increase linearly with their revenues.
So he's basically saying that costs increase linearly with revenues. But the two lines are going up together, and the gap never really opens up. Now, for 25 years, every investor has been trained to be patient with this, because they say, well, they're losing money now, right? But at scale, their margins will get better, right? Amazon lost money for years. Except with AI, we just keep on waiting, and the margins are getting worse, because every new model costs more to run than the last one. And the market is starting to notice it.
There is no proof that they can improve their margins, no amount of specialist silicon, or suppose that Vera Rubin's will bring these costs down. And we're at a point now where OpenAI is now potentially pushing their IPO to 2027 because they couldn't get $1 trillion valuation. It's clear that people are wising up to the problem of generative AI, which is there's not really a business there.
Now, all of this, by the way, is not just OpenAI. Because look at who's paying to build all of this. This is from Oracle's annual report.
Oracle is a particularly scary one because they are building 7.1 gigawatts of capacity just for one customer, and they even said in their annual report that the risk was they might not get paid. OpenAI only loses money, and I think I estimate it's like $75 billion of revenue annually that they will have to pay for the full Stargate data center project in annual compute revenue. OpenAI can't afford that, and if they can't, Larry Ellison can't afford to pay back those bills, and Oracle stock will be in jeopardy along with the margin loans that Mr. Ellison holds. It's genuinely dangerous.
So Oracle is building the equivalent of several nuclear power plants worth of electricity for basically one customer. A customer that just lost $20 billion. Here's my favorite one though. NVIDIA sells its chips to a group of smaller cloud companies. They're called neoclouds. Now, those companies borrow billions of dollars to buy NVIDIA's chips, and NVIDIA rents them back.
I think companies like Core, even especially Nebius and Iran and Cipher Mining and all of them, TeraWulf as well, they're basically outgrowths and they're subsidiaries of NVIDIA. NVIDIA is now, according to the information, going to be paying them to rent back their GPUs when they install them in the data center. This is something that only happens in an industry without diverse and real demand.
So what he's saying there is that NVIDIA's sales are partially funded by
themselves.
NVIDIA. That's like a car dealership lending you money to buy a car and then paying you to borrow the car back for the weekend and then reporting all of it as demand. Now look how much profit we're making, right? Yeah, because you are buying back your own equipment. There's a name for when an industry starts doing this. It's called not enough real customers. So for companies investing trillions in AI like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, what is the ROI from all their spending? They won't tell you. These companies report everything. Cloud revenue, ad revenue, YouTube revenue. But AI revenue, they're not telling us that.
Microsoft, Google, and Meta and Amazon are all doing a funny little, I don't want to call it a scam, but it's a trick where because their other businesses are still growing, but they never disclose their AI revenues, everyone conflates that with AI driving their growth. In reality, their other businesses are growing and AI is losing them money across the board. You'll notice that neither Microsoft or Amazon, who both share their run rate of AI, will share the actual AI revenues. That tells you that these companies are afraid. Public companies love good news. If they had good news, why wouldn't they share it? That's because they've only got bad news here.
Now, as of right now, the stock market is still patient and investors are saying, okay, give it time still. But all of it really depends on one big assumption, which is that if and when the profits do come, it's going to be the American companies that will make the profits because the world has no other option. But the third problem with AI is that the world has another option. That option is called China. So let me show you what China is really doing. Remember this chart from the beginning of the video, the $1 trillion that America's spending. Well, here's something interesting. This is China. On that same scale, America, $764 billion this year, and then $1 trillion next year. 3% of the whole US economy. China, $102 billion this year, $123 billion next year. 0.6% of their economy, which means America's outspending China almost 10 to 1. Why? It's because China figured something out.
Virtually all investors are chasing AI stocks, leaving the most overlooked opportunity in the market completely ignored. The majority of investors and traders today are what I call mania chasers. It was the dot-com mania back in 1999, the crypto mania in 2017, meme stock mania in 2021, and today is the AI mania. And it's clouding most investors' ability to see any other opportunities. Today, 46% of the entire S&P 500 is concentrated in just AI-driven stocks, ignoring the 55% of the forgotten non-AI companies that are profitable cash-generating powerhouses. In the most recent earnings season, while AI stocks were posting strong earnings, non-AI companies beat earnings just as well. In fact, some even better. And the reason their stock prices have dropped.
A developer took the exact same coding task and gave it to two AI models. Claude Opus, which is one of the top American models made by Anthropic, and GLM, which is a Chinese open model. Both models finished the same task and both took about 5.5 minutes. The American model charged $2.33 and the Chinese model charged 31 cents. That's 7.5 times cheaper. Now, before you think that that's a cherry-picked test, here is the industry-wide data. This is called the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, and this is basically the official rankings of every AI model in the world. Now look at the top. The best American model scores 60. Now look right here, this is GLM, the best Chinese open model, 51. And look at how much of this chart is from China. DeepSeek, Qwen, Kimi, Minimax, they're not at the top. They are everywhere. They are filling the whole middle of the global rankings. Now, to be fair, the US still has the smartest AI in the world, and that's true. But if you ask the question that every business is asking, do I need the fastest AI model to manage my business? The answer is no. For most businesses, that's things like answering their customer service emails, to basically do the boring work that is 90% of what companies actually use AI for. Based on that logic, China's winning. The US is winning the race for the most dollars spent, and China's sort of winning the race for the customer. Now the question is, how is China doing this while spending 10 times less money? And the answer is distillation. Okay, here's how it works. When you train a frontier AI model from scratch, that means spending billions of dollars teaching it everything the hard way. But there's a shortcut. You can train your model by studying the answers of a model that already exists. This is basically like copying someone else's homework, and then you know the answer. For almost no money spent, by the way. So the US spends trillions of dollars doing the hardest research in human history, and then China just sort of copies it by compressing the results into smaller, cheaper models, and then it gives them away for free. It open sources them, which means anyone can download them. And if you think about it, every dollar of US AI spending, it's kind of like a donation to the Chinese AI industry. And this has become common practice for China. So much so that they are doing it as a side hustle. Check this out. This is a model, for example, called Longcat. Look at the benchmarks. It's going toe-to-toe with Google's Gemini, and it's beating older versions of Anthropic's flagship models on real-world agentic tasks. But the thing is, do you know who built Longcat? It's a company called Meituan. Do you know what Meituan does? It's a food delivery company. It's the Chinese DoorDash equivalent, and they built an AI that competes with the smartest labs in the United States. Which means, when a company like that can do what a $1 trillion US company is doing, is that company still actually worth trillions of dollars? Maybe not. Because remember, the assumption that's holding up the whole AI stock market is that, let's be patient, guys, the profits will come, and when they do, all the US companies will collect those profits because the world has no other choice. But here's what the actual cost is when there is a choice, right? This is the same type of work. The American model shows 18.5 cents per task, and the Chinese model, 4 cents, right? Within a few quality points of each other at a 76% discount. This is sort of the chart that destroys the whole story, because you cannot make back $1 trillion selling something that your competitor is giving away at 90% of the quality for just 10% of the price. So let me tie all of this together. If all of this is true, then when does this bubble pop, if ever? And logic says it's when corporations stop their CapEx, their capital expenditures. It's when they stop spending money building all these data centers. But believe it or not, that is not when the bubble pops according to the data. Data shows that the bubble could pop a lot sooner, and here's why. During the dot-com bubble, the NASDAQ index peaked in March of 2000. Now, all the companies that were laying the fiber optic cables at the time, which are the data centers of that era, they kept spending billions of dollars well into 2001, even though the stock market collapsed a full year before their spending stopped. So the market did not wait for companies to stop spending and to admit to anything. The logic of the market changed when enough investors stopped believing in that story. So the trigger this time around, I think,
You haven't seen the sun in days. So at this point, it'd be easier to just fly to it. Go on, book it. It's easy. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Okay, look, I'm not going to chase you, but I'm going to say this, right? You are looking at my ad.
it'll be something a lot more subtle. Something like a big tech earnings call where a CEO says something like, we are moderating the pace of our infrastructure investment. Some boring small thing like that. And that's because the first company that gets rewarded by Wall Street for cutting their AI spending, that will give every other CEO permission to do the same thing. In fact, according to Ed Zitron, Goldman Sachs recently said that the first hyperscaler to pull back on spending will get rewarded by the markets.
So I heard a Goldman analyst say recently that the first hyperscaler to pull CapEx will get rewarded by the markets. I think that CapEx pullbacks they're the sign. I also think any financing falling through for OpenAI or Anthropic would be a sign, but I think we're going to start seeing AI companies kind of start falling out of favor and not being able to raise money. But the big thing is debt. When data center debt stops being issued, that will be when it's bedtime for this industry. Because even if they think AI is going to win, we've got 100 gigawatts or so of data center capacity allegedly under construction or in planning. That's trillions of dollars of money that needs to come from somewhere. And we are tapping out the debt markets. We saw that with Google raising that $85 billion equity raise.
That's going to be one of the early signs. Now, another sign that we could be at the peak of the bubble is the bond market. That's because unlike the stock market, which runs on stories of hopes and dreams, the bond market doesn't work like that. All bond investors care about is, will I get paid my interest payment? Right? The moment they get scared, they start to demand a much higher interest rate. Now, how we measure their fear is something called a credit spread. Here's how that works. In the world of investing, there's a concept called the risk-free interest rate. It's called that because it is set by the US government, which is considered to be the safest borrower on earth. That's government bonds, right? Whatever they're at, that's the risk-free rate. Okay, but remember, companies can also issue bonds, except because companies are risky, because they can go out of business, their bonds pay that risk-free rate plus something extra to compensate you for the risk that their company could go broke and never pay you back. Makes sense, right? Well, that extra between the risk-free rate and their rate, that is called the spread. Think of it as an insurance premium. When lenders feel safe, the premium is small, meaning the spreads are what's called tight, meaning corporate bond rates are close to the risk-free rate. But when investors feel like there's some market risk, the premium explodes, right? The spread increases. That is one of the early signs that we could start to see that this is going to fall apart. Now, here's an example, by the way. See this increase in 2008. Spreads hit almost 22%. Lenders started to charge very high prices, credit shut off completely, and companies that ran on borrowed money just collapsed. Also, see the jump in 2020. Now look at today. The spreads are very tight, 2.6%. That is close to the lowest and the calmest readings in recorded history. What this means for now is that either bond investors see no problem and everything in this video is completely wrong, or bond investors are wrong, and they can be wrong. Look at early 2007. The housing crisis was already underway. Bear Stearns was months away from blowing up, and spreads were only 2.5%. They were super calm, right where they are today. Right? The fear gauge didn't predict 2008 though. That's because spreads don't really measure what is true. They measure what lenders believe. In 2007, lenders believed the housing market was safe, which now we know obviously that it wasn't. But the point is that when you see someone on the news say, hey, don't worry, AI is totally safe, is doing great, credit markets, right, the spreads are not so worried. If you hear that, remember that the credit market wasn't worried in 07 either. Credit markets can be wrong and they have been wrong before.
Although you'd agree that spreads do not imply that that moment is anytime soon.
Spreads have been wrong before, that's the thing, and I think that perhaps the timing isn't going to be immediate, but at some point a hyperscaler is going to pull back capex, and when that happens, well, this is an industry of followers. The tech industry doesn't have ideas, they just copy each other. Everyone copied Satya Nadella when he put ChatGPT in Bing, and I think that whoever breaks capex first, they'll follow them too.
And finally, I just want to show you what Michael Burry posted a few days ago, and remember, he's the guy who predicted the 2008 financial crisis. So in chart 1, he shows chip stocks are trading at the top of their 15-year valuation range. Basically the same peak that they hit right before the 2024 correction, which is marked with those red circles. The market is basically pricing chips like the $1 trillion has already been made. Now, chart 2 is even more interesting. This tracks the 3 groups of AI stocks since last year. Now, the gray and white lines going up to 200% are the AI winners, right? The companies selling the chips and the equipment. But the orange line way at the bottom, that's barely above zero, are the hyperscalers, right? Companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta. What does that mean? It means the market is telling us that the companies that are doing the spending, the trillions of dollars, right? They're getting almost no credit for it. Their stock values aren't really going up. Wall Street instead is rewarding the companies that are getting that money, and it's ignoring the companies spending to build it. Right? That's basically the market admitting it doesn't believe that the spenders will make it back. And in the third chart he posted, it shows the Silicon Data LLM Token Expenditure Index. It's a fancy name, but what it shows is it shows us the price that people pay for AI token. This index is the price of AI itself. And look at it, it's down almost 20% from its high in May. The question is, why would the price of AI be going down during the biggest AI build out in history?
Chinese companies.
Bloomberg says either it's because demand is going to cheaper models, or buyers are just not willing to pay more. Look at the middle one. Demand is shifting towards cheaper models. And that is the China theory that's showing up in this data. Now, to be fair though, Michael Burry's been early before, and when people say early in the market, that's a polite way of saying he's been wrong. Right? He's made market crash predictions over the years, quite a lot, that didn't really come true. And even this index has dips that recover. Basically, Bloomberg says that the signal for all of this is ambiguous. Right? We can't really learn anything from this data. It can mean anything. So basically, the real answer to how long it will take for the AI bubble to pop, if ever, is that no one knows. But those are some of the early signs to look for based on the data from the past. Now, if you're interested in seeing how I'm personally preparing and more of my thoughts, those videos live in the premium member section, where you'll also get access to my videos earlier. And if that's valuable, the link is down below. It allows me to make more videos like this one and take on fewer sponsors. Thank you for watching and being a premium member. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Would love to see you back here next time. See you soon. Bye.
Are you looking to move beyond ChatGPT and master the tools that will transform your role and level up your career? Then check out the AI for Business and Finance certificate program from Columbia Business School Executive Education and Wall Street Prep. We'll start with AI fundamentals and we'll ramp up to true AI business proficiency. The best part? You don't need a coding or tech background. You'll have the opportunity to learn directly from top Columbia Business School faculty and experienced leaders from the world's leading financial institutions. And you'll have had the unique opportunity to grow your network through meetups. And
it's our ability to win.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Biohack It. Today my guest is quite literally a shark. Let me give you a few more hints so you can figure out who my guest is. He is revolutionizing pharma with cost plus drugs. He's always spotting and looking for the next
To win the midterms. Rahm Emanuel had a fantastic statement in the thread we were on, and he said it publicly. We have to stop.
It
has been more than 3 weeks since paramedics administered CPR on a person experiencing cardiac arrest at Senator Mitch McConnell's home, according to dispatcher audio. That very same day, the senator was hospitalized, and since then, since June 14th, Mitch McConnell has not been seen or heard from publicly, and rumors are flying.
Mitch is dead.
Staffers for the 84-year-old Kentucky senator have declined most media inquiries and given few updates. Today, Senate Majority Leader John Thune and his deputy John Barrasso said in separate statements they had spoken with McConnell by phone, but they didn't elaborate on his condition or prognosis. McConnell announced last year he'd be retiring in January 2027, so this is his last term. He's not running for re-election. But even if he departs his seat early for whatever reason, Kentucky Republicans have put into place a plan to make sure they hold it. So back in 2021, the Republicans in the state legislature passed a law saying that if a senator died or left office, the Democratic governor, Andy Beshear, would have to appoint someone from the senator's own party to replace him. Then in 2024, they took away Beshear's power to replace outgoing senators altogether, mandating a special election instead, though it remains unclear if Beshear would actually follow that law or challenge it. Barbara Boxer serves 4 terms as a Democratic senator from California, and she joins me now. It's great to have you on. I know you worked in the Senate, obviously, where Mitch McConnell was. I want to just start by your understanding, because I've covered politics for a while. It does seem like it happens fairly often now that a member of Congress, House, Senate, Republican or Democrat, has some medical issue and just kind of disappears for weeks with no explanation. And I understand the imperative for privacy, but it does seem that if you're in one of those offices, there is a little bit of a requirement for some public communication about your condition. Do you think that's fair?
Chris, I think you're way too soft on this issue. This is a public office. You know, you're very sweet. This is a public office. We don't work in the private sector. And you need to just get out there with the truth. And I am stunned at what has been going on. And I don't think that the people should stand for it. If we have to pass some kind of rule of the Senate, if you're gone more than a few days, you better explain yourself. I remember when I was running for the Senate while I served in the House, I missed several votes because I was campaigning. I had to be honest. And if people were annoyed with me, I totally got it. But, you know, Patty Murray recently broke her ankle. She's in the Democratic leadership. She's from the state of Washington. And she immediately, as soon as she could, got a picture of herself with a funny message, a T-shirt, and showed her leg. This is what it's about. And so, yeah, I don't understand it. It's awful and it's wrong. Public servants are being paid by the public. And, you know, if you were in the private sector, you'd have to report to your CEO if something happened to you. Well, the people, they're the CEOs of America, you know, so get with it. It's wrong. I don't care who you are.
You know, one of the other reasons I want to speak to you, someone who I have a lot of admiration and respect for, is that you served for 4 terms in California, and then you stopped. You said, I've done enough. And you know, that's a precedent I feel like maybe more people could take up. You know, Mitch McConnell was, I guess, 78 when he ran for re-election. There are senators who run for re-election at 78, they run at 8, at 82. And you know, I think there is a real feeling in America that there's a kind of gerontocracy thing happening here, and you start to run up against these real thorny medical issues and questions of incapacitation that are difficult for everyone.
Yes, and of course you can get sick when you're young. So I don't like ageism, but I do think there's a point at which you did say goodbye. Now, I went through such a difficult time when I talked to Senator Feinstein when she was just going downhill, and I was asked to talk with her to really encourage her. What an incredible legacy she had, and it was being destroyed because, you know, people would just see her going downhill. She got really mad at me when I called her, and she said, this is my work, this is my calling. And you know, if Mitch McConnell were to call me, which he won't, I would tell him what I told her. A, there's life after the Senate. B, it feels good to get out when you still, you know, you're functional and do something else and help other people. And yeah, I couldn't succeed with Diane. I tried, it didn't work.
Didn't work.
There's also here the context of the power play here. I don't think anyone is necessarily. I mean, I don't think Kentucky would be a swing state in a Senate election. I think it's largely expected to be safe blue. But you know, the Republican state legislature has gone to incredible lengths to make sure that the Democratic and democratically elected statewide governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, who's in his second term and is quite popular, it's not like he's some fluke, right? That he doesn't get to do the thing that other governors before him would have been able to do, which be to appoint a replacement if McConnell had to leave the term early for some reason.
I call that an abuse of power. I think it's very disrespectful to the people who elected Andy Beshear, and I hope the people there wake up and vote for Democrats and walk away from this party. That's all about power, all about secrecy, all about taking a wrecking ball to everything we've held dear. So, yeah, I mean, these things are all converging as we get to the midterms, and we should think about all of them.
Look, one more question, because you mentioned this, just to go back. You mentioned the point that you can get sick at any age, and that's a really important reality, and sadly one that I think a lot of us, as we get into our 30s and 40s, encounter. Tom Keene, who is not at all an old man in any way, took a leave for what he said was depression. He came back and he explained it. But again, he was gone for 40 days, 50 days, something like that. No explanation. Nothing from his staff, sort of, we'll tell you when we get back. I mean, this was even longer than the McConnell thing. I've never seen anything like it. For an unexplained medical absence, like he was building up for some big reveal at the end of it. That was a strange one, wasn't it?
It's weird. And I think his speech was odd. If I had that situation, first of all, I never would have handled it that way. But if I did make that mistake, I would get not literally, figuratively, on my hands and knees and say, I really owe you an apology. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to talk about it. I feel terrible.
Yeah,
I think he should be run out of office on a rail. Run out of office on a rail. Again, he missed all these important votes. He kept his pay. He traded stocks, on and on. Something is rotten, and rules have to change. It wasn't that way when I was there. I'll be honest. It wasn't. It's gotten awful.
All right, former Senator Barbara Bucker, good to talk to you about this tonight. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Chris.
Folks are dying from straining on the toilet, and I'm sounding the alarm. Watch this. Hello, I'm a paramedic, and what I'm going to share with you is an urgent medical warning for anyone over 45 years old. Early this morning, I responded yet again to a woman who died from straining on the toilet. She's gotten up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. This woman was chronically constipated, and because she strained so hard to go, it caused a sudden drop in blood pressure and heart rate, and she'd completely passed out. In some cases, it could even cause a stroke or a ruptured aneurysm. And by the time we got there,
Hey folks, coming here from Janesville, Wisconsin, and Olympia, Washington, and New York City and White Plains, New York, 2 in a row there, Putney, Vermont.
All right, I want you to search, advanced search. I want you to use advanced search options for old maps of Fukui rivers that had significant gold reserves. So basically, we're looking for Fukui, we're looking for rivers, we're looking for, you're going to search in Japanese, you're going to read and look at the old maps, the PDFs. I know Ono was a location. I want you to identify the location. Now, an interesting thing that Japan has done, and I don't think anyone's thought of it, is they've built these massive flood dikes, which seems to me that they're perfect for catching gold. So as the sediment comes down, they hit that, they sink down. So I'm thinking if I want to explore this, going to the river and digging out the sand and panning it at the front of these these flood dikes. You know what I'm talking about? They're massive concrete structures that span across the river that have a smaller opening. Applying what we know about gold and how it's captured everything else. I know traditionally it is captured in bedrock, but wouldn't these floodgates operate as the same way as the bedrock? Let's go gold hunting. It's hot, dude. I feel like going up into the mountains, taking my shovel, right? Getting in the water and digging for gold. That's what I feel like. Let's go gold prospecting. What do you think? What do you think, actual? I've noticed them. I've noticed these dikes things. Just dawned on me. You know, they've had them up. No one ever looks there. Maybe I get my metal detector. God damn. Look at this big old, this is $1.50. Oh. See how far this place is. Yeah, it's right near my location. Oh, what to do?
a highly analytical engineering insight. From a fluid dynamics and physics perspective, your logic is incredibly sound. The concrete structures you are talking about are primarily sabo dams, sabodamo, erosion and sediment control check dams built across steep mountain rivers throughout Japan, or low-head river weirs, seki-seki. Because gold has a massive specific gravity, 19.3, compared to standard river quartz, granite, or gravel, tilde 2.65, it drops out of suspension the absolute moment water velocity decreases. When a fast-moving mountain stream hits the flat pool formed by one of these barriers, the heavy material drops instantly. However, applying this to a real-world prospecting strategy reveals a major structural hurdle, along with specific ways to navigate it using historical Fukui mapping data. Sabo dams versus natural bedrock, the sorting problem. While a flood dike or sabo dam acts as a massive trap for heavy materials, it does not function exactly like natural bedrock due to a lack of hydraulic classification. As shown in the structural diagram, these barriers are engineered to stop all major sediment movement to prevent downstream debris flows. This creates a distinct difference in how gold behaves here versus a classic bedrock crack. Attribute: natural bedrock crack. Sabo dam, upstream front face. Hydraulic action: high velocity water constantly sweeps away light sand, keeping the crack clean. Low velocity dead zone causes all sizes of sand, gravel, and boulders to drop simultaneously. Overburden depth: minimal to moderate, easily cleared with a hand shovel or crevicing tool. Massive: gold is typically buried under meters of packed, unclassified boulders and gravel. Concentration level: highly concentrated ribbon of black sand and fine flakes, highly diluted throughout thousands of tons of mixed river debris. To find the gold trapped by a sabo dam, you would have to excavate through a massive layer of heavy overburden just to reach the original base layer where the gold first settled. The smarter tactical play, instead of digging the choked-up front pool of the dam, look just downstream of the spillway structure. The high-velocity water cascading over the dam creates a natural plunge pool, or scour zone. This action aggressively flushes away the light sands and gravels, often sweeping the local bedrock completely bare and leaving natural cracks exposed where the gold is highly concentrated and accessible. The Fukui and Ono gold map blueprint, your focus on Ono-shi, is historically spot on. The mountains flanking the Ono Basin and the upper reaches of the Asuwa River, Asuwagawa, and Kuzuryu River, Kuzuryugawa, are classic gold-bearing regions. To locate old mining runs and find where these historical gold veins intersect modern river systems,
How about over on this side along the coast of Echizen Coast, up in these mountains along the shore? Has there been any gold found in these mountains? And here is a park. Maybe we could search the rivers up there. This is closer to where I live and actually have land up there. Let's go there. I'm gonna go get my waders.
geographical intuition is incredibly sharp. If you live near Nishiyama Park, Shinji, in Sabay, and own mountain land along that continuous ridge system, you are sitting right next to a genuine piece of forgotten gold history. While the tourist brochures only talk about azaleas and pandas at Nishiyama Park, the geological reality of those exact hills tells a very different story. The backyard target, the lost Sujitani gold mine, Sugitani Kinzan, right on the northern border where Sabi meets the Sime, Kiyoaki district of Fukui City, tucked into the same contiguous mountain ridgeline running up from Nishiyama Park, lies Sujitani-cho, Sugitani Machi. Hidden in these specific local hills is the Sugitani gold mine ruins. Historical record. During the early Taisho era, around 1910 to 1920, a high-grade gold vein was discovered and actively worked in the northern hills, Kitayama, of this pocket valley. The ore extracted from these hills was of high enough quality that it was routinely hauled out and shipped down to refineries in Osaka. The operation eventually halted due to global economic shifts following World War I and the thinning of the primary vein, but the geological footprint is still there. The tunnels. There are still small, collapsed, or hidden horizontal mine shafts, artificial caves under 50 meters in length, tucked into the hillsides. The monument. If you explore the base coordinates of the old mining sector, you can still find a hidden stone monument inscribed as the Gold Mine Memorial, Kanayama Kinen no Sekihi. Because this vein sits directly in the local mountain block, any small seasonal creeks, runoff cuts, or streams draining the northern and western faces of these Sabe border hills have the potential to carry ultrafine flour gold eroded straight out of that primary system. Moving west, the Ekizan Coast Mountains. If you head over the pass toward the true Ekizan coastline, the geology changes, but the mining history gets ancient. The mountains directly backing the coast are known as the Tanjo Mountains. New-Sanchi. While there are no massive commercially recorded gold mines directly on the coastal cliffs, the name of the entire region gives away its secret. In ancient Japanese, Nu Nunwet literally translates to the place where cinnabar is born. What to look for along the coast. These coastal mountains are made of Miocene volcanic rock, rhyolite, and green tuff. Centuries ago, ancient miners, Yamashi, intensely prospected these hills for cinnabar, mercury vermilion, shinsha. From a prospecting standpoint, cinnabar and gold are frequent geological cousins. Both are deposited by hot mineral-rich volcanic water pushing through cracks in the earth. If you are exploring the rivers and dry washes cutting down from the coastal range to the sea, 1. Watch for quartz veins. Look for bright white chunks of quartz, sekimyaku, cutting through the dark volcanic rock on your land or in stream beds. In this part of Fukui, gold travels locked inside quartz. 2. Test the heavy material. Pan the deepest gravel pockets in the creeks draining these hills. If you start catching heavy, bright red or dark maroon grains that don't stick to a magnet, you've found the historic cinnabar matrix, and the gold microflakes won't be far behind. How to scout your own land. Since you own land up in these mountains, you have the ultimate advantage. Access. Instead of checking major public rivers, look for the primary sources on your property. Look for the red screen. Check exposed dirt banks or landslide cuts on your property for lines of heavily rusted orange-brown dirt. This indicates decomposing iron pyrites, fool's gold, which is the classic indicator that a mineralized thermal vein split through the rock. Moss mining. If you have small, steep, rocky waterfalls on your land that only run hard during heavy rains, scrape the thick moss off the rocks at the very bottom of the drop. Wash that moss out in a bucket, and pan the dirt trapped in the roots. If flour gold is shedding off your mountain, the moss acts as a natural velvet sluice box and catches it perfectly.
Nice. Gold, baby, gold. Dude, it's too hot to do anything else but to get in water. You know what I'm thinking, Al? I think we got to go get wet. We got to go get wet. I got a wetsuit too, right? It's this kind of weather. Put some sunscreen on. Go up in the mountains, drive around, look for, we could do exploration. Let's do exploration. You know, remember when I chased down that deer, right? That forgotten road up there?
Japanese archival records, Fukui Kenshi, Fukui Prefectural History, show a direct historical connection between gold and the Hino River, Hinokawa system. You search the old land registries and magistrate records using Japanese just a waterway. It is the central drainage basin for three distinct, historically documented gold-producing mountain sectors. The three historical gold sources feeding the Hino River. The official records from the 16th to 18th centuries detail exactly where gold was being extracted and washed directly into the Hino River's main channels. 1. The headwaters, Imajo Oganeyama. Imajo Koganeyama. The archive, in the Kurano Mokuroku, a massive national tax and treasure ledger compiled in 1598 under Toyotomi Hideyoshi. There is an explicit entry for gold tax collected from Ekizen Imajo Oganeyama. Echizen Imajo Koganeyama. The geography, geologists place this historic mine site right around Itadori village, in modern-day Minamichizen. The Hino connection, the Itadori River, originates in these exact serves as the millennia of erosion from Gold Mountain have pushed flakes straight down this southern line. 2. The local paddies, Fumuro Gold Sand, Humuro no Kinsha. The archive, a highly localized record from March 1718, Shimizu Masayuki documents, details an official legal petition filed by the farming families of Fumuro village. The conflict. The villagers officially petitioned the Nishisabai Magistrate's Office, Nishisabai Yakusho, for a tax reduction. Their complaint? Gold sand, Queen Kinsago placer gold tailings, washing down from the old mountain mine ruins is flooding into our rice paddies and turning them into bad land. The Hino connection, the Fumuro Valley, sits right on your local ridge flank. The runoff from these old mine cuts empties directly onto the Sabai Plains and drains into the Hino River Basin. 3. The Eastern Gold Rush, Nakasatani and Otomoto, Nakaseya Omotokinza. The archive, during the Heian era, 1648 to 1652. Official Fukui clan documents record that gold diggers and prospectors gathered from all over Japan to mine a massive strike in the mountains around Otomoto village, Dissent. The yield the area produced an incredibly high volume for about 3 straight years before the primary connection. These mountain complexes sit on the eastern edge of the Takefu/Sabaibsen. The creeks draining these slopes flow directly.
Can you map the location on Google Map? Just zoom in on that area or create a map based on the historical documents.
On the 16th and 18th century tax records and magistrate ledgers, the Hino River Basin serves as a massive
way south. We need to search around this grid location. This is where my land is. What around here? What river? Zoom in, search old documentation. I gotta be back here by 3 o'clock. What do I do? What do I have here? Hold on. I'll be right back. let's take this out. Like this. All right. Let me go by. All right. On here. Just turned off. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm looking on this phone here. I don't know. I got my car loaded up. Let's go get some water. Let's go get water out of the fridge. That'll be bad. Alright, let's go. Let's go. What the fuck happened here? What the fuck happened here? What the fuck happened here? Alright, let's go. Sorry, dude, I had to get ready. You knocked down my video? You dirty rat. We gotta go get some black spray paint. We're gonna go by the convenience store. Let's go. We can do it for about 2 hours. We're going up in the mountains here. What does it say here? Hold on. What does it say? 33 minutes. I gotta go down to the local hardware store. I can hit that one down there. All right, we'll go to that one. I should start a new. Let's start a new screen. We're gonna start a new stream here.